People rang me up a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I've got people and a phone and a grasp on the passage of time. Yeah, they rang me up, said, Tim, will you go on Ruth Jones' show? They want you to sing a song, it'll be fine, fine, fine. But the problem with my particular oeuvre is that half my songs are 5 minutes and over. And the wisdom here at the BBC is that viewers switch off if you go past 3. And a lot of my songs have a bit of bad language, which causes the viewers untold anguish. It seems their tolerance for smuttiness is reserved for pussy puns on Are You Being Served? And so I need a song that only goes for 3 minutes without no bums or blasphemy in it. A lovely little song specifically written for the delicate skin of middle-class Britain. I need a song with a chorus and a verse with no nasty-ass cussing and a cussing. I'm a little too lewd and a little too long. I gotta find myself a 3-minute song. And they said, remember boy, that music is like love making. It's simply self-indulgent to take it past 3 minutes. Remember boy, that music is like love making. Everybody loves a pianist, but length must have a limit. So you need a song that only goes for 3 minutes without no pornography or politics in it. You're a little verbose and a little bit wrong. You gotta find yourself a clean living 3-minute song. 300 beats at 100 beats a minute with nice clean jokes and a hoedown in it. Something for the telly that never ever fails to appease the viewers of BBC Wales. And even in the bridge, I won't be lyrically adventurous, intellectually unmentionous, or racially contentious, and I won't make double entendres at the expense of the Chinese. For China is a country that can bring me to my knees. For China, for China, for China, for China, for China is a country that will bring us to our knees. Ooh, Mr. Humphreys, my pussy is all wet. 2, 3, foreskin. I need a little happy clappy country song, nice and repetitive and not too long, boring enough but not too boring, with a key change here to prevent me snoring. I need a song that is only 3 minutes without no buggery or blasphemy in it, something with a pleasing rhyme and rhythm. Well, if you can't beat 'em, get conservative with 'em. To flog more tickets to my concerts by convincing the viewer that musical satire hasn't progressed since Victor Borger. You've got a telly and I wanna be in it, and apparently you'll only watch for 3 minutes. Yeah, apparently you'll only watch for 3.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? Who is that singing? That is Tim Minchin, the one and only Tim Minchin. He is a very gifted pianist. He is also a very talented songwriter. He wrote the music for Matilda, the musical, which has been up for like a decade or something. And you might have also seen it recently on Netflix. That Netflix musical, Matilda, he wrote all the music for it. So pretty good. He also like played Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar, which was like a very good production. I think the 2012 version, very, very good. The dude's got he's got a very good voice, especially when he's screaming. Like he did this. Hold on. I don't think I actually have a scene for this. Can I? Hold on. Video. No, that's not right. Here, look, we're going to do this. We're going to figure it out together. The screen capture, I think this is it. I think. Methinks. This might be the wrong one. No, that's right. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, so this bit right here, I can only play a little bit of it. But, like, listen to his screaming. Like, this guy can... Great actor, too, which is refreshing, you know? We're kind of used to like a lot of people when they perform and stuff like this. It's like, I think who was it? It was one of the Jonas Brothers, but he was in Les Mis. He was in like a production of Les Mis or something. Randomly, it didn't make any sense at all, but they brought him in because it's one of the Jonas Brothers. Of course, we're gonna let him in the show. It's really weird. The musical version of Matilda came out last year, right? Well, the productions existed for a long time. It was on Broadway and everything for a long time. So the version that's on Netflix is pretty new. That's pretty new. Matilda, well, maybe Broadway? Yeah, like this little bit is from 2017. This is the When I Grow Up song. So they do like this whole thing on stage with the swings. And they don't let the kids do the like really crazy tricks on the swings, so they have like adults playing kids that come in and swap out to do like the really crazy acrobatic things on the swings. Are they gonna do anything fun? I think like at one point they do backflips and stuff on the swings. Like they go pretty hard. But the musical Matilda's existed for a while. But he wrote all of the music for it. So, Tim Minchin. Oh, what a treasure. What a treasure! Anyway, a little random. Grant you that. Yes, I did hear about the Suicide Squad delay. I want to dig into that a little bit today because it's weird. And Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. They also posted a new video of a play test for Skate, the new Skate game. Pull that up too. Oh, and there's a new XQC video of him talking gibberish. Hold on, let's see this. We have to see this. We have to. Where's the button? There we go. Hold on. We have to check in with our boy.
I couldn't do them. Only you could do 1080s. I couldn't do them. Oh, you remember you said?
Yeah. Fucking spamming button. Spinning this shit.
Can't understand a word he says.
Yeah, you had like this. It was so
Yeah, you could just run on the ground. Yeah. And then you go this, and then you go.
Yeah. Exactly like that. Oh, he's a treasure. He's a treasure. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, and a new Resident Evil 4 demo gameplay thing. Lots happened. A lot's happened. Should we check in? Are we gonna... We're burying the hatchet that was never there with Yong. I'm okay with watching Yong stuff. Even the subtitles are confused. Yeah, a little bit. Can you imagine if the subtitles just go question mark, question mark, question mark? It's like the algorithm's like I just don't even know. Man, I'm genuinely curious as to when we will finally get a new game from a major publisher that isn't delayed. I mean, it's so in theory, you should announce a game with a date and release it on that date. So when a game gets delayed, it shows that they grossly misestimated or underestimated the amount of time they needed. And sometimes that's like not their fault. Sometimes it's not that they were being like too greedy and expecting it to move faster. But other times it's just that something popped up. Like there was that case recently where there was like a port of the game on Xbox. They ran into like a major technical issue that was related to the architecture of the series consoles. So they had to delay the game because they had to like recode a whole chunk of the engine or something to make it work. So sometimes that happens. But I mean, honestly, nowadays, I'm glad that they're willing to delay these things instead of just push them out broken and buggy. So that's good. I mean, I think major publishers have probably learned that, like Callisto Protocol is a great example recently. That allegedly, Callisto Protocol, the game's director or executive producer, I think, he said, no, he's the director. He was the executive producer of Dead Space. But he said that the graphical and like hitching issues and everything that were in Callisto Protocol at launch on PC was related to an employee pressing one wrong button. They checked like one wrong box when sending the patch out, and as a result, everybody on PC had a horrible experience at launch. That's what he claims. I don't know if that's true, but that's what he claims. I got the review code, of course, and the review code was with enough time that I saw the day one patches and stuff that they put out. And what I will say is that the game ran a lot better before that patch. So somehow they made it worse. Which would make sense if they accidentally screwed it up. But sometimes stuff like that just happens. It's crazy. But yeah, they can screw up games just because they pressed the wrong button. Can you imagine if you're that guy? That game was considered a financial failure because part of the reason was because of the negative press surrounding the launch tied to the PC problems. So imagine being the one employee who checked the wrong box and now is like pretty screwed. I don't know, man. I feel terrible. Even updates for alphas are getting delayed. Star Citizen 3.18 was supposed to drop yesterday. Did they at least explain why it didn't? Or is it just one of those things where they're like, yeah, we'll get to it eventually? I've been waiting for 3.18. I wanted to jump in and try it, but man, that guy works at Ubisoft now. Oh, poor fella. Nell, good to see you. Just a quick hi from holiday in Rome. Hope stream will be uploaded so I can watch it when I get back. Yep, it will be uploaded. It'll be like as a VOD, whatever, stored here and listed, so you'll be able to check it out. Good to hear from you. Enjoy your holiday. Thank you, Phil. I got it. I pulled it up. I have it on in the tab. Gotham Knights is fixed. Time to boot it up, Luke. Oh, I did see something like that from, was it Digital Foundry? Gotham Knights fixed. They fixed Gotham Knights. Exclamation point. Wowzers. Okay. I also have to publish the video for today. The video for today I was going to film like this big 50-minute like deep dive into like a defense of Days Gone, but I went to the dentist the day I was filming it, and I like my mouth was partially numb still when I got back to film the video. So for a lot of the video, my mouth is just numb, and so I talk kind of weird the whole thing. So the video ended up being really short, and it just didn't come together the way I was thinking it would, but we're gonna still put it out. It's just funny. Like my mouth was falling apart. Let's see. The team that compiles and distributes the builds in Texas has been working on it since Tuesday, and their best estimate was a release yesterday, and now we only know that they want to release it today. Okay. I mean, they just got to get it out. I mean, it's going to launch. It's going to be super, super broken. Let's be real. It's going to be a disaster. Like, it always is. But just get it out. Rip the Band-Aid off, right? Rip the Band-Aid off. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Let's do this. Let me publish this video real quick. Screw it. Publish. Boop. Okay. Let's do this. Full screen. Let's see how they fixed it. I'm confused. I'm confuzzled.
Gotham Knights had some definite issues when it launched last fall.
Who's this? Is this a new guy? I don't recognize his voice.
A mix of lighting problems, odd technical hangups, and strange design choices undermined what should have been an attractive game. This was made all the worse from comparisons to its 2015 predecessor, Batman Arkham Knight, which was in many ways a more visually accomplished title. But the game's key fault came down to performance. Gotham Knights ran at a highly unsteady 30 FPS, with harsh frame rate drops, stutters, and frame time fluctuations. The game felt rough and jerky as a result, particularly when traveling through the open world. For a current-gen only title that was pushing unambitious visuals, this level of performance bordered on unforgivable. After 5 months of patches, though, Gotham...
For real, I think that's the biggest and most offensive thing about it is like, I think he usually does the retro videos. That's probably why I don't recognize him. I usually pop into Digital Foundry for the new stuff. But he isn't new. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I just don't recognize the voice. Anyway, but with this, the reason why Gotham Knights like was so infuriating is that it was significantly, in my mind, less visually impressive than Gotham Knights, than Arkham Knight, which launched in 2015, 7 years before this game. So it was like, so it runs terribly and it looks worse than the game that is 7 years old. Okay, got it. It just, every bit of it was kind of insulting, which I think is the big thing.
Improved from that initial version. So is this?
Yeah, I think I'd be fine with 30 FPS if it was justified. Well, yeah, it like I've said this since the start of this whole like 30 FPS debate. I find it really stupid that people are like, 30 FPS or I boycott. Like, some of the best games that like we all agree are amazing games were launched at 30 FPS. Red Dead Redemption 2. Everybody loves that game. That game's amazing. And it launched at 30 FPS. Does it suck all of a sudden because it launched at 30? Is that not a good game at 30? It's a very good game at 30, even still. Breath of the Wild. Pretty sure that launched at 30. So, like, all these games didn't launch magically at 60, and they were still great, okay? Like, games can run at lower frame rates and still be great. I prefer higher frame rates, don't get me wrong. I greatly prefer higher frame rates. But a game doesn't suck because it runs at 30, okay? Thank you, Francisco. My goodness, thank you. It's gonna read it. Don't worry.
Francisco C. super chatted $4.99.
Thank you.
Would you consider Avalanche Studio the 18 now for WB Games, and do you think MK12 is missing an opportunity with other fighting games this year?
Multifaceted. I would not consider them the A team, maybe one of their A teams, but they still have some amazing studios. They have Monolith still, which they're working on the Wonder Woman game. They previously did all of those Middle-earth games. So they have some phenomenal studios under their belt. So I would not say that they are the A team, but they certainly now have earned their place to be considered among those other ones, I think. As for Mortal Kombat, I would say that I'm not really in tune with the fighting games enough to be able to say confidently, like, yeah, they're totally missing an opportunity. But maybe for them, it's just, hey, we're going to wait another 6 months or an extra year or whatever, polish the crap out of it, add some extra stuff, and have a year to ourselves in 24, if that's when they're launching. So it's probably not a huge missed opportunity. They're just going to wait till they can be the center of attention, which is fine. Daniel, thank you for becoming a member. Also, thank you to Peak Resolve for becoming a member and Walnut for becoming a member. Appreciate you. All of you. You guys are great. The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, GTA 5, Yakuza 6, Kiwami 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance, all 30 FPS at launch. Yeah. Great games can be at 30. But they have to be great games. Like, that's the operative piece of this puzzle, okay? They gotta be great games for you to be like, okay, 30, not a big deal. But Gotham Knights was like a pretty lackluster game and barely ran at 30. So across the board, like, it had no redeeming qualities to make it okay.
This game finally in reasonable form, and have any of its visual faults been addressed?
It's such a bummer because they could have done so much with this like New 52 thing. You guys will see, like, back here, I've got the New 52 comic books. There's so much potential here. They could have done so much with it.
Daniel Embretson super
just
chatted
blew it.
$10.
Thank you, Daniel.
30 FPS works great if you can be immersed in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think to balance 30, you need great art design. You need a stable 30, to be clear. And like somebody said earlier in chat, we can justify 30 if it's justified. Like, if there's a reason for it being 30. Like Arkham Knight one of the best looking games probably ever released, way ahead of its time. And that launched at 30 FPS on consoles. But that was justified. You look at that game and you're like, okay, yeah, no, 30 FPS, fine. I'm happy. But, you know, that's just, it is what it is. Where's the balanced 40 FPS mode on consoles? I think 30 FPS is just, in terms of marketing, it's not easy to sell people on 40 FPS because the film industry for decades, almost a century really, was based on 24 FPS because it was the lowest frame rate where you could pretty much still get relatively smooth motion. So, and because they were filming on physical film, they needed to save as much film as they could over the course of a shoot for a film. So they said, okay, well, we'll do 24 because it's the lowest frame rate that we can possibly do that still looks smooth. So they did that for like a century, and it became sort of like the cinematic look. So then even after physical film was not a constraint and we were filming digitally, still a lot of films choose to film in 24 FPS. And so you double that and you get up to 48, which is a little better. You guys might remember, I think it was The Hobbit. They did 48 frames per second, and when they released that in theaters, people lost their minds. People were saying it's too disorienting, it's too smooth, it made me motion sick and stuff, which was really funny. I mean, honestly, it's pretty ridiculous. And then even now they're playing around with frame rates in movies. I did see Avatar: The Way of Water 2 nights ago for the first time. Finally saw it. An okay movie. It's a spectacle movie. It's one of those movies. It's like, you know, a presidential inauguration or Michael Jackson's funeral. You don't care if you see it live, but when you see it live, you're like, okay, I guess I'm glad I was here. And that's it. And so, like, it's not a movie I'm going to be watching upstairs, like in the living room, casually. It's not one of those movies, but it was fine. The one thing that was not fine is the dumb, soft brain decision to swap between frame rates. If you guys haven't seen it, they swap between frame rates like shot to shot. There's some shots where they film it, I don't know if it's at 48 or if it's at 60, but they swap to a high frame rate in some shots that are like action oriented, and then they swap to low frame rates for other sequences that are more slow moving and narrative. I find it so stupid. It's so stupid. I was baffled. The whole movie, it like was pissing me off. I was like, it's just, yeah, well, that's the thing. Mr. K, I asked Nikki. Nikki was there, and I asked her what she noticed about the movie. Her thing that she didn't like was how often they put particle effects in the foreground. She felt like it was just trying to flex the 3D thing, because we saw it in 3D. And I didn't really notice that, but she didn't notice the frame rate shift. She didn't notice that. I will say also, they fade to black like 15 times in the movie, and you guys know how I feel about fade to blacks. So I don't know. And then it's like they hit a lull in the story, and they're like, let's just spend 10 minutes showing people swimming with fish. Come in, hello. It's really weird. Hello. Hi. Hi, dude. Oh, thank you. Oh, he's got his video game controller. Do you want to show them your controller? Lucky. Oh, you shut the door. Lachlan James. Thank you for the donos and memberships, guys. I'll look at those in just a second, okay? Lucky.
Can you go sit, Daddy?
Do you want to show them your video game
Noah
controller?
Wright super chatted $5.
I've been having terrible twos today.
Oh, terrible twos. He's a grumpy Gus. Lucky.
Lachlan, can you listen to Daddy, please?
It's already taking it apart.
Oh, here, Mama's gonna fix this.
The best part of the stream.
Where's Dad?
Hey, do you want to say hi to everybody? Do you want to say hi?
Go sit with Daddy. No. Do you wanna bring a boat? Bring a boat and go sit with Dad.
You bring the boat? Show everybody your boat.
Show Daddy. No. No.
Terrible twos. What they don't tell you is that the terrible twos don't start at 2. They start at 1 and lead all the way through 2.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
He's cried this morning. I've cried this morning.
We've all cried.
I'm taking your seat for a second.
Okay. You dance. You should show them your controller. Can you show them your controller? It's super cool.
Lucky, come sit with Mama. Because we're going to go bye-bye in a little bit.
You go by.
Yeah. We're going to go bye-bye in the car.
Good job. High
Go
five.
get some coffee.
High five.
Gonna cry some more. It's my life now. Mom extraordinaire. No identity. Crying over a cup of coffee in a Target with all the other moms.
I like to bring Nikki in to cheer up the stream, to get people like really excited and happy.
I've started deleting my comments and things on Facebook and Instagram because I've just realized, like last night, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I a pessimist? Do I just make people really sad? That's my 26-year-old epiphany. Maybe I am the bad guy. I'm gonna cry again. Ooh.
This is pregnancy for you folks. This is what it is.
Awesome. Love it. So fun. It's bad, Luke. It's happening.
Tim's asking, how's Goop?
Goop. Oh, man. Goop is growing. Goop will be in the 3rd trimester tomorrow. So, time is going by very, very fast. We are not ready. We don't even have a second crib. We are in denial. Also a river in Egypt.
Bagel.
Yeah. Lucky, can you come sit over here and say bye-bye? That's half of what I asked you to do. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
that goes there. Oh, you put it on? You want to put it on?
Thoughts on Avatar 2?
Super tall.
I left the theater feeling very, very mixed because there was so much that like hit me as a parent and I thought that was really good. But then at the same time, it was very James Cameron. Luke said it really well when we left. He goes, it's very James Cameron in that he doesn't cut the things that feel unnecessary. However, I also love world building. So I left so mixed because I'm like, please build this beautiful world. Let me be a part of it. And then I sat there for 3.5 hours and I'm like, that was really long. But also, is that it? Like, it didn't feel like enough. And I think it's because there was so much exposition and just cool stuff that the story lacked a lot for me. Oh, man. Oh. Luke, did you talk about the row of people behind us?
No.
Oh my gosh. There's only like 8 people in the entire theater. Oh, there's 10 of us. There's 10 of us. So it's Luke and I. There's like an elderly couple in front of us. And then a row of just 6 teenagers right behind us in the very back. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. I'm actually surprised this movie's been out for like almost 3 months. What's going on? And the entire movie, a teenager, like every 20 minutes, one of the teenagers just leaves. One of the teenagers just leaves. And it was really off-putting because you're like, what's going on? Oh my gosh, do they know something I don't? What's happening? And just all 6 slowly throughout the entire 3 hours, one of them was leaving. And Luke goes, they're making out. they're doing hand stuff. And in a row? I don't know. I don't know. It was sketchy. I don't understand it. I didn't do that stuff. Oh God. Okay, Luke, we're gonna go.
Okay. Where'd you get this?
They're doing coke in a movie theater seat. They're drinking coke, probably. I don't know. Oh, I did it. Oh no! No, everybody's exposing themselves. Stop! What did you do in public spaces? At least wait till you're in your car. Did I do stuff by train tracks in the dark? Yes. In a public theater? No. in retrospect, though, it was probably like way easier to get away with it in a theater. At the train tracks, people would come up with a flashlight and like look in your car to try to scare you. I don't know. What a time to be alive. I will say I have never done drugs, and I've never done drugs in a theater. And the few people who say they have is frightening me. Mr. Stevens. He's never gonna let me come down here ever again. That's just what's gonna happen. How old am I? Oh no. Do I reveal this? As my brother so kindly told me on my last birthday, you're closer to 30 than 20. So 26. Yeah, I'm 26. Like 6 months older than Luke. I'm a cradle robber. Robbo, 6 months. He's like, bye. Hey, can I have a hug? Come here. Goodbye.
He's
No
just
hugs.
like, I'm bye.
I made that.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Drink it on stream. It's not.
Do you want this? Rocky, do you want your controller?
Pull up the pants. Situate the belly.
Well, have fun with whatever you're gonna do. You don't know? Do something
I'm
fun.
gonna cry some more.
You go to the library. He loves the library. Oh, don't throw away your toy.
It's not. He was playing.
Okay. Be nice to your mother.
You tried doing anything when the person you're bringing just says no all the time.
Yeah, he's a grumpy goose. He's a grumpy goose.
Bye.
Bye. I love you.
No.
Be nice to your mother.
Love you.
Bye. Bye. Oh, yeah, she's gonna go to Target, probably. Probably. Oh, man. Yeah, he's adorable. He's adorable. Oh, you've gone down a rabbit hole of modding Red Dead 2? That sounds dangerous. That game's already great without mods. I can only imagine what you could add to it. Man. But yeah, anyway. Avatar, fine. It's fine. I think it's what Nikki referenced was that I saw an interview with James Cameron where he said that those things a lot of other directors would cut because they're just eye candy. He keeps because he's like, sometimes I think that there's things that are worth seeing just for the sake of seeing them. And in the context of a movie, I think that's okay. And I think that that's actually like pretty fair. And I think that's what most of Avatar, these films have become, is it's like a lot of it is just graphical masturbation, which is fine, but they're kind of strange movies. The one thing is I saw multiple times, twice that I could point to, I saw glitches, like mistakes maybe is what you'd say. So like in the one that jumps out at me that was the clearest that I saw, there were a couple where like fabric on a distant character was like glitching out and flickering and flapping erratically, like a glitch in like Hogwarts Legacy with the capes and robes. But there's one moment pretty early in the movie, like maybe 30-45 minutes in, where the daughter of the water people's, so I guess the princess of the water people, she has like her little whatever sports bra looking thing, the bikini, whatever, with the straps that go around her neck. And at one point in the underwater section, they show her swimming right ahead of them, and the strap clips through her shoulder out to her back, and it just like clips out as she's swimming, and then it cuts really, really quickly. And it's really, it was like, oh, that's kind of a weird mistake for them to make. I haven't, maybe if I rewatch the movie, it won't look like a mistake. Maybe it's intentional, or maybe it's not what I thought it was. But there were a couple of times where I was like, I think that was an oopsie. There's a couple of things for a movie that's unacceptable. There's a handful of problems in a bunch of movies, like let's see. where was it? Wasn't there like, I don't know. There's a bunch of compilations of like mistakes in movies. Mistakes in movies you didn't notice. So like this type of thing happens where they have movies and they screw up on something.
Wrong cars on the streets. But
so like whether or not you
in
consider this
stores.
like, yeah, they didn't have these cameras in stores at that time, but they kept it in.
Wrong cars on the streets.
Newer cars than were at that time. Like this stuff is pretty minimal. If you want to nitpick, you can point it out.
But these are just little details compared to the incredibly talented young actors and the charismatic actor Bill Skarsgård, who can be
Oh, he
pretty
is so
damn
good.
intimidating.
I love
but
it.
we want to draw your attention to another goof, which appears literally at the beginning of the film, and the viewers most likely haven't even noticed.
I haven't
Bill
seen
is
this one
sitting
yet,
on
though.
the bed and makes a boat for his younger brother. From the side, we see there are no crumpled napkins on the bed there, but after a second, the angle changes and there's a crumpled piece of soft paper in front of the boy. Okay, maybe it just wasn't in the frame before. So now the camera shows us Georgie, then Bill again, and now there are 2 napkins on the bed instead of 1. Oh, you think maybe you just quickly blew his nose using them? But it only took less than a second, and Bill didn't even have time to take his hand off from his face when coughing. So it's just another classic goof. Dead.
Yeah, these it happens. Like these little mistakes happen. The like in a movie like Avatar, I guess you would expect that attention to detail, but I mean, I haven't really seen anybody talk about it, so maybe I'm the only one that noticed it, or maybe I'm the only one that saw something that didn't actually exist, and I'm just paranoid, or I'm seeing things in these movies. But I don't know. It was a minor mistake, but I was like, I also felt maybe it's the frame rate shift. When it went to the high frame rate in Avatar, it made it feel like a video game basically to me, and there were sections where I felt like it looked kind of bad. Like there were moments where I thought the CG was not very good compared to where it was in the lower frame rate sections, which is weird because it should be better with the high frame rate sections. But yeah, it was odd. It was odd. There were just a lot of things where I was like, I don't know if this is like coming together in the same way, but it was fine. It was fine. Like I said, not a movie I would spend time watching again. I just don't think that it's probably worth it. But anyway, let's see how they fixed Gotham Knights. We're super distracted. First, let me go back to these super chats that you guys sent over while Nikki was in here. Daniel sent 10. Oh, I did comment on that one. Thank you, Daniel, again for the 10. Francisco sent 199. It's like Transformers Age of Extinction. Did they do frame rate shifts? If so, yes. I find it so annoying. Like, choose 48, do 48 frames. Like The Hobbit did. Just stick to it. Double down. It's the other thing that drives me crazy is like aspect ratio changes. If you haven't watched The Dark Knight in a while, watch The Dark Knight again, and you'll see that The Dark Knight swaps between like 21:9 ultra widescreen, not ultra, but widescreen, and then IMAX like 4:3 in multiple shots. It'll swap back between widescreen and then this IMAX squared off version. Does it really? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Go check it out. Oh, I should like. I'm not kidding. It'll drive you crazy once you notice it. But it's still a great movie, even if it has those quirks. Still a great movie. But it does that weird, stupid thing. And so maybe people don't care. Not maybe. People definitely don't care. But these little things drive me a little crazy. Noah, thank you for the 5 as well. And Kunal, thank you for the 200 rupees. Luke, I read an article stating that a source from Warner Brothers said that it has, or that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been delayed because it needed more polish, not due to fan backlash. I hate my doubts about it, or I have my doubts about it though. Yeah, that's what Jason Schreier also reported. He reported on Bloomberg that they were delaying it likely for polish, not because they are going to change anything. And to be clear, like, people's backlash and the fan backlash was tied to pretty foundational issues. You're not going to get rid of the gun score. You're not going to get rid of the free to play live service, not free to play, the games as a service elements. You're not going to get rid of that. You're not going to get rid of like the kind of lackluster stories or quest structure. All of that stuff is going to be there. They can refine it, but I don't know. I just had a call with another YouTuber before this stream, and we talked a little bit about Suicide Squad, and I was just like, I think a lot of it is the marketing, honestly. Like, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has some stuff that gets fans excited. Focus on the narrative. Focus on the dark and gritty story. Focus on that stuff for the marketing, and stop pretending like we really want the live service stuff. When you go on stage or screen and you start promoting your game and you're like, yes, and it's games as a service, and we're offering this at this low price, and then you can buy cosmetics. Isn't that great? Like, and when you pretend like people are really into it, it seems super disingenuous. It's like when your boss at work is like, oh, we had a great year, folks. So to celebrate us having record profits, making millions and millions of dollars as a company, we bought you pizza. And then they act like that's a really awesome gift to you. And you're like, I didn't even, like, you got the crappiest pizza. You order like Little Caesars. I'll be real, I kind of like Little Caesars. Sometimes it hits the spot. What am I going to say? But you got like the cheapest of the cheap pizza. And then you come in and act like you're doing this great thing for us. Like, no, it's disingenuous and you're being a twat. Like, it's pretty straightforward. And that's what bugs me about the Suicide Squad stuff, is if they just came out and they're like, yeah, listen, on the FAQ, they list it's a games as a service. It has paid cosmetics. It has all this stuff. It's always online, blah, blah, blah. But then in the marketing, they focused on the stuff players actually want, the dark and gritty narrative, the high quality cutscenes, stuff like that. I think people would be much more into the game right now. But because they presented it in a way where they act as though, it's the same attitude of, you all have phones, don't you? Where they act like you're the one being unreasonable for not liking this. And I think they just need to snap out of it because it drives everybody crazy. Now I'm wanting pizza. I'll be real, dude. There is a Little Caesars right next to my gym. And I feel like it's placed there as a temptation because Nikki doesn't really like Little Caesars. I'll be real. I grew up on Little Caesars. Little Caesars is what like my family could afford. We didn't like Domino's was really rich for our blood. So, we would get Little Caesars if we did pizza nights when my mom wasn't making it by hand. And it hits the spot even still. Some Little Caesars. What a hilarious location. Chrome, I'm not kidding. There was a lady with her daughter stashed out or like posted up outside of the gym, outside the front doors, selling Girl Scout cookies last week. Is that not the most cruel thing you've ever heard? Oh yeah, you're working really hard, losing all that weight, burning calories. Thin Mints? Tagalongs? It's either the most cruel or it's the most brilliant location for that little girl to go and sit at. It's like when you hear about the Planet Fitness types and they have like donut Wednesdays or whatever, and they just give out free donuts to people working out at the gym. It's like, isn't that like against like what you're trying to do? It's like, no, it's exactly in line with what they want to do. They want you to get the donut, get like kind of chubby, and then feel bad about it and go back inside and run on the Stairmaster for 20 minutes. That's what they want. So it's actually quite brilliant. Anyway, I'm getting very, very distracted. Let's get back in it. Oh, also, look at this, and then I'll get back to the Gotham Knights thing. Sorry, Jacob, for trying to cut this thing together. You're having to cut out like 45 minutes of rambling. Look at this. Look at this. You ready? Which camera is it? This one? This is a Polaroid that I took with Lockie this morning. It's very cute. He's smiling so big, still in his PJs. Oh, what a good guy. He's got the sleepy eyes. He smiles. I also have the thing, when I smile, my eyes go all squinty. Like, So he has that too. It's pretty cute. It's pretty cute. So I have it set here so I can look at it while I stream and stuff. Because he's a good fella. He's a good fella. Okay.
release. Gotham Knights performs much, much better as of the latest patch than it did during the launch period. Going back to the initial release, it had 3 key performance problems. Firstly, the game was frequently beset by conventional frame rate issues. Gotham Knights tended to buckle a bit when traversing through the open world, with harsh drops often characterized by stutters, down as low as 83 milliseconds or so. Performance profiling on the PC version revealed that most of these problems were CPU related, though the game could exhibit more stable, extended performance dips where it did seem GPU bound. Secondly, Gotham Knights had issues with frame delivery. You'd see a mix of 16, 33, and 50 millisecond frames in general gameplay, even when the overall frame rate didn't really fluctuate from 30 FPS. The game never felt truly stable, with bizarre frame time fluctuations that came as a byproduct of their chosen frame rate capping method. Finally, the game would occasionally chug with no clear driving factor, like in the train terminals. Gotham Knights had some issues with bugs and general stability, and that extended to some inexplicable problems in select areas at times. These issues made Gotham Knights' 30 FPS frame rate target feel messy and sort of broken. It was one of the worst performing major titles on current-gen machines, with obnoxious performance woes that had a constant impact on playability and fluidity. But after a concerted patching effort, the situation has been dramatically improved. Looking at the PS5 release, we're getting close to a locked 30 FPS. Interior scenes...
Close. Still not locked, okay? Still not locked. Ooh. I mean, I'm glad they're patching it. Let's be real. They could have just walked away, and I wouldn't necessarily blame them. This was received pretty poorly, so I wouldn't be shocked if they walked away. But instead, they're patching it. They're trying to work on it. But, man, we're what now? Like, what are we, 6 months after launch or something like that? And they still haven't hit the 30 FPS target reliably? That's rough, man.
Playback without any issues whatsoever, absent of the frame time troubles that we observed at launch. The choppy, inconsistent motion has been completely solved here, and we're locked to 30 FPS.
Good.
It really is a huge upgrade. Open world traversal, where the launch release suffered most, is also very stable. Long stretches run at a perfect 30 FPS even when speeding through Gotham City on the bat cycle. I can't say it's completely perfect, because there are one-off dropped frames that do pop up every so often, though not more frequently than every few minutes or so. For all practical purposes, open world gameplay just hugs that 30 FPS update. The opening bike chase, which is possibly the most consistently demanding scene in the entire game, provides a helpful illustration. The updated PS5 code is almost a flat line here with just a handful of drop frames through the entire sequence, while the launch version goes on a bit of a frame time roller coaster ride. There are extended dips, sharp stutters, and plenty of 16 millisecond frames sprinkled in for good measure on that original code. The new version brings a night and day improvement and is a much more enjoyable experience. The Xbox consoles follow essentially the same pattern. Interior scenes run at a locked 30 FPS, with outdoor scenes not entirely perfect but much improved. Both Series S and X feel much better to play than in their initial forms. Unfortunately, they do lag behind the PS5 release here, despite the enhancements over the launch code. The primary problem comes down to dropped frames during fast traversal. Both Xboxes have the same problem here, a predictable, if somewhat infrequent pattern of 50 millisecond frames when driving at speed.
I want to touch on this, because this is something I saw, I saw some fanboys on Twitter going off on. And so, let's just address this outright. People look at stuff like this and they say, oh, so look, the PlayStation version of the game runs better than the Xbox versions, so therefore the PlayStation 5 must be the superior console. But, what I think it is, I don't think it's any more complicated than just simply the fact that there are more PlayStation 5s out there, and thus more people playing these games on PlayStation 5 than on Xbox. So in terms of priority, if you're a game developer trying to polish the game and refine it, where's your priority going to be? It's going to be where most players are. So if most players are on PlayStation, because the PlayStation 5 is a very successful console, then you're going to spend more time polishing and refining the PlayStation version. It's pretty simple to me. I don't think it has to be more complicated than a grand conspiracy that, oh, well, the Series X is actually significantly weaker than the PS5. Everybody I've spoken to who's in game development, it's they're slightly different, but they're pretty much the same. And any targets you can hit on the PS5, you can hit on Xbox and vice versa. It's not a big deal. The Series S is the question. I mean, a lot of people are iffy on the Series S, and I'll grant you that. If they came out and said that the Series S is holding this back, I would not be surprised at all. But, to me, when I see that the PS5 version runs better than the Xbox version, to me, it's just a matter of priorities. And as I touched on before, you guys might remember that story that came out back in, I think, November. PlayStation 150 employees. Here. PlayStation assigned over 150 employees to help with the production of the Callisto Protocol. because they wanted to make sure that the game ran the best possible on their platform. They wanted it refined. So Sony's invested a lot of money and time and employees and labor into refining the game on their particular platform, which is something honestly Xbox should be doing too. I think that this is a very good idea. But it again reaffirms like Jim Ryan's strategy recently has not been to buy out exclusives where they buy exclusive rights to like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, but instead they pay for advertising rights and then they pay to help them polish the game on PlayStation so that when people look at like the reviews, they see, oh, it seems to run better on PlayStation, so I'll pay it. I'll play it there. So this type of thing is like pretty common. So I just want to get that out of the way now. Like, it's not actually a matter of power that causes the differential in performance with these patches and these versions of these games. I think most of it just comes down simply to the fact that the like the PlayStation 5 is just a more ubiquitous console. More people have it. Anyway. How do I make the chat bigger? Oh yeah, Rocky. I sent out the email or the Discord thing to try to schedule that that time. I have a Series S, but it's just become a Netflix box for the kids now. I just play everything on PC. Yeah, I mean, I used the Series S back in the day with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but it was great for that. I kept it like basically on my nightstand with a little portable monitor, and it worked great for that. But I don't know. I don't really use it that actively now. But to be fair, it's not a console meant for me. I have this Series S in here, but that's mainly for Xbox Game Pass games and backwards compatibility games. It's not really designed for, at least in my opinion, it's not designed for like the main driver for somebody with expendable income who has a PC and stuff. It just doesn't seem to be it. Are you excited for RE4? Yeah. I mean, I'm not like crazy into Resident Evil, and I've never played the original, but I'm like somewhat intrigued. Sorry, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Sorry.
These tend to pop up perhaps every 15 or 20 seconds or so, often clustered around loading thresholds and intrude frequently enough to be a little bit distracting. Larger stutters can still pop up as well, though again to a lesser degree than in the launch version. If we put the same difficult bike sequence in its old and updated forms, we do still see a transformative frame rate boost. When the game is under heavy stress, the improvement is clear. It's really just those momentary loading drops that continue to pose an issue, albeit a much smaller one than at launch. The other Xbox Series issue comes down to some odd animation problems in certain cutscenes. Essentially, object and camera animation run with inconsistent travel at times, which is particularly noticeable during broader movements. Frame rates are locked to 30 FPS here, but the actual underlying animation looks as if it's not being interpolated correctly. Curiously, this issue doesn't seem to be present in the launch Xbox versions or on the PS5. Hopefully this can be fixed, as it is pretty distracting.
Weird.
So the consoles are much more consistent performers as of recent updates, so what exactly has changed? The patch notes unfortunately don't provide many clues. While Gotham Knights has been updated many times since launch day, including patch 4.0, which came out earlier this week, most of the notes are pretty unclear, specifying performance optimizations or improvements. One detail does stand out here though. An early update claims to have implemented dynamic resolution. The launch versions came in at a locked 2160p on Series X and PS5 and 1440p on Series S. The maximum resolutions are the same as of the updated release, though mostly the game continues to come in at those top-end figures. PS5 and Series S both clocked at the same resolutions as before in every shot I tested, while Series X reached a low of 2016p at worst. I wasn't able to get the sort of comprehensive pixel counts that I usually aim for, as Gotham Knights has several image-altering post-process effects on console. Chromatic aberration, motion blur, and depth of field that can't be turned off and strictly constrain the instances in which a raw pixel edge can be easily found. I imagine that the resolution dips more frequently during challenging moments in gameplay, though this would be hard to notice. One predictable solution for performance improvement might be to reduce the game's simulation complexity. The launch version had remarkably sparse NPC and enemy density in the open world, for instance, perhaps a concession to ease CPU load. But in the new version, I couldn't spot any consistent decreases in density at all. I also couldn't find any downgrades to the game's ray tracing, which is present on PS5 and Series X. It seems roughly as detailed as before in the shots that I compared. The ray tracing still makes significant reuse of screen space information when available, and distant geometry is often absent from the BVH structure, but the resolution of the RT is relatively high.
Just once again shows you that ray tracing really is not the name of the game. Like, Arkham Knight didn't have this, didn't have ray tracing, and it still looks amazing. Still looks amazing. But then here, it's just not there. PC performance, they're about to do it right here. So, like, ray tracing, it's a cool gimmick, but this is a great example of how you can have ray tracing, but it's not going to magically fix your game or make it look good, you know? Like, it's just like, it's not the end-all be-all.
PC performance in its launch release. The game was CPU bound, just like consoles, and was mostly limited by the performance of a single CPU thread during open world gameplay. Gotham
Oh god, it's so cringe. Having one CPU core that dictates all performance. That's I get it. Well, I don't get it. I'm sure that it's very difficult to like scale this stuff, and a lot of engines nowadays seem to be limited to like one CPU core. I play games on this monster gaming PC, and I can't get it to usually crack like 5% CPU utilization. My GPU can be maxed out, but like CPU is like 5%. So it's all pretty much bottlenecked by the GPU, it would seem. But in reality, it's being bottlenecked by the single core of the CPU because it only takes like that one little piece of it, which, you know what? I think, wasn't it Kerbal Space Program? Didn't they add in like a multi-threaded, multi-core processing thing, and it like quadrupled performance instantaneously? It was crazy. Something like that. But I mean, I'm sure it's very difficult to implement that. Guild Wars 2 runs on one CPU core, and it is murder for the game. Yeah, it's just, it's got to be difficult because every game nowadays seems to be doing the same kind of thing. So it must be an issue with just how engines work. Or maybe it's that, like, they can't rely on or scale for all the different CPU types. So instead they just limit it. One core, we'll just worry about that. But it seems like such a weird choice because nowadays, like, who's running like a single or dual core CPU on their computer? Like, who on earth is doing that? Not many people. I think nowadays most gamers are at least running like quad core chips, because I think, are the i5 chips from Intel, are those dual or 4-core? I thought they were 4-core. Maybe they're only 2. But even then, it shouldn't really matter. Synchronization is very hard in programming. Yeah, no doubt. I'm just surprised that like even Unreal Engine stuff is having problems. You know, 4 to 6 for i5. Okay. Well, i3 core or i3 chips are dual core, I think, across the board. And then they have like Celeron beneath that which are all like single core for like portable laptops. You're not gaming on anything like that. Modern engines use multiple cores. It's old engine that does not. Well, this was Unreal Engine 4, I believe. Am I wrong about that? I'm pretty sure it's Unreal Engine 4, which I thought, I would think that they fix it, but I mean, who knows? Unreal Engine 5, I did see a demo the other day that was pretty cool. Maybe we'll pull that up. Unreal Engine 5.1. It's pretty badass.
Knights also suffered from serious shader compilation issues during the game's early
Oh
sections.
god,
As
you
of the
remember
latest
that?
patch,
Oh,
the
I
game
remember
suffered
this.
From serious shader compilation issues during the game's early sections. As of the latest patch, the game's performance woes have been largely alleviated. Just take a look at the game running on Alex's mid-spec test PC here. Shader compilation is no longer an issue, as the game pre-compiles shaders during its first boot, and frame rates are much improved during CPU-bound sequences. We're still short of 60 FPS during a lot of the open-world traversal, but frame rate averages have improved by 10 to 15 FPS or so since the initial release. I played through roughly the first hour on my high-end PC on maximum settings at 4K with DLSS 2 in its quality mode.
Okay, here's a question. Do you think that like these devs, because the shader compilation thing, it's only a problem and it only causes stutters during the initial like compiling of the shaders. So after the shaders have been compiled, it's no longer an issue. So my question, like, maybe this is like a conspiracy theory kind of thing. I don't know. But my question is whether or not these games get released, with these horrible shader compilation issues, which you'd think they would notice because it's such a huge glaring problem. But do you think it's because like the PCs that they're testing the game on compile the shaders and so they just don't realize that they have shader compilation issues? Is it something that dumb? I would think that they would do like multiple tests where they reinstall graphics drivers so they like can see that. Like you would think. But it happens so regularly where you like for gamers on PC, they're like, holy crap, this is a problem. And yet the devs always seem surprised. You know, like, how did you not realize that this was a problem? And then, you know, they very quickly, within like a day or two, they update a patch that does shader compilation stuff. And it just all of a sudden is like fixed. I don't know if for Unreal Engine 4, if it's like a button that you press and it's like enable shader compilation in the menu. You add that and then it compiles shaders in the first boot. I don't know if it's something that simple, but it's just crazy. Hogwarts compiles shaders on boot, so they must have known. Well, they knew, and I believe that's also an Unreal Engine game. So devs aren't surprised, but leadership tells them, or probably tells them to ignore it. Maybe, but I just can't imagine it's that like low of a priority. Because if anybody boots the game up, it's going to be that bad for the first time on PC. The reason shader compilation issues are such a major problem for these games of the last like year has been that it doesn't matter how good your hardware is. If it has shader compilation issues, it will affect your hardware. This is a 4090 and it will still stutter like a bitch with games like the launch version of Gotham Knights. It just will. And so like it's just something that they gotta figure it out. So I don't know. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory. Maybe it's just that it wasn't a priority. I don't know. But it's freaking weird to me that we constantly see this. Like, constantly see this.
And the game is in pretty reasonable shape there. We're still CPU limited to some degree during select frames when targeting 60 FPS, but the game is mostly a solid 60 here. Lowering the view detail and environmental density settings can help here though, and uncapped performance tends to average around 100 FPS in the open world. I'm not completely happy with the way that performance is scaling on PC, as a consistent 60 FPS is out of reach for most mainstream systems, which feels a bit gratuitous given how this game looks. Plus the cutscene animation issues do return here, at least at 60 FPS, with jittery movement like on the Xbox Series consoles. But as long as you have a fast CPU with high clock speeds, Gotham Knights can mostly deliver a pretty good experience here, with much improved fluidity over the consoles.
It's just, I mean, again, it's baffling. This game comes out 7 years after Arkham Knight, and across the board looks way, way worse. Even the PC version of Arkham Knight, which launched pretty rough, I mean, let's be real, it was pretty bad. Even that still now runs very, very well. Perhaps not as well as it could, but still.
After some further reflection, I think Gotham Knights visuals, while largely unchanged in this version, do deserve considerable praise. Ultimately, Gotham Knights is best understood as a game of two halves. The first half is the game's mission environments. Basically, anytime you start a major mission, Gotham Knights loads into a space that features pretty solid visuals. Lighting is a particular standout in these environments. Each of the game's interior spaces features very attractive ambient lighting with excellent GI and well-placed light sources. Technically speaking, it's basically par for the course, with big-budget Unreal Engine 4 titles, but it often looks excellent. There's plenty of fog, volumetrics, and smoke in these areas as well, which gives them a sort of organic quality. The assets also impress here. Again, this isn't exactly generation-defining stuff, but geometric density and texture resolution are both suitably high. The artwork here holds up well at close range, and the game itself has a lot of asset variety with key story areas showcasing very different interior stylings. If you just evaluated Gotham Knights on the indoor segments alone, it would seem like a very good-looking game. A lot of effort has clearly been expended to make these spaces look unique and attractive, with capable rendering technology combined with carefully crafted artwork and visual design. The other half of the game is set in Gotham City itself, and this is really where the game's visual issues become apparent. A lot of my concerns here come down to the game's lighting quality. Gotham Knights open world does have a lot of light sources, but ambient lighting basically seems non-existent. Lights are often surrounded by large spaces of very dark color, as if each light has no contribution to the overall scene lighting. My broad impression is that GI is largely missing in the open world environment. It's hard to escape the feeling that Gotham Knights lighting is broken, with stark, contrasty lighting that lacks the sort of information needed to build a convincing lighting setup.
And I think that's part of what makes the game just feel off. Like, you're exploring the open world, and there's just something about it that doesn't click. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of phenomenon in artwork like this where lighting sources don't match up properly, and so it just doesn't look right. Is there a term for that? Like, I would think there probably is. But you look at clips of, like, Arkham Knight. I just pulled this up. So this, to be clear, is not my footage, but this is Throneful. But you look at this, and all of a sudden, like, you see that the lighting is very coherent. It feels, like, dark, but it also feels like the light is more realistic. It feels more in tune with what you would expect. And I think in Gotham Knights, you go through the map and it just doesn't feel like you're exploring a coherent piece. It feels like you're exploring a place with like hundreds of individual little set pieces that have been plopped in. But like you look at that, the light here reflects off the ground there, which seems to bounce up and light up the rest of the wall. And then this light is really bright and it lights up the area around it and all the rain and also part of this crossbeam here. So that seems legit. This light is reflecting off of this building. So then it bounces back up and you see the lighting hitting all of this. So it feels, and even out here, like this sign is reflecting off the wet ground over here. So is this sign reflecting off of this down here. There's all of this stuff. And this isn't even directly tied to ray tracing. This is just quality lighting. And it just goes to show you like just how bad Gotham Knights lighting is. But this is, I mean, it's one of the staples of cinematography in general, is that good lighting will always beat out a really good camera. It'll always beat out a really, really good, lens. Those things help, certainly, but the way that you take your image to the next step from a foundational level is by lighting, because you can't fix bad lighting with a really good camera. You can't fix bad lighting in a game with ray tracing. Like, if the lighting is bad, if the artistic aspect of the lighting is bad, there's just nothing you can do. It just sucks. Like, just sucks. Pretty simple. So, yeah, it's really heartbreaking, because again, Gotham Knights could have been so good. And you guys remember, I tried to look at the positive with Gotham Knights. I was like, maybe it's going to be really good. Maybe the advertising's just been stupid. But then, they show me up and manage to make it look terrible. So I don't know. You should play the RE4 demo. I'm down. I could start downloading it. Is it on Steam? I don't remember. Or is it only PlayStation? Probably only PlayStation. RE4. View page. No, okay, it's on PC. Okay, I'll download it right now. That'll get going while we're doing this. We can turn that into a video. Agree, download. Okay, finish. Boop. Hopefully it doesn't crash the stream. Let's go. So anyway, I'm still kind of butthurt about Gotham Knights, because it could have been something great. We could have had everything. We could have been special. Adrian. Look at this. So, little tidbit, kind of a fun little tidbit. They just revealed some features for The Last of Us Part 1. Okay? Last of Us Part 1. It's only a 25-second clip, so I mean, this is not that comprehensive, but look at this. Look at this. You ready?
Riley, come here. No, you got this. Go.
Photo mode. Some people are going to lose their minds over this. I'm not very good at photo mode. I don't spend a lot of time in it, but there are people on like Twitter and Instagram. All they do, their whole account is just dedicated to photo mode. And so it's pretty cool that they've added it. This gets me excited. Ultra wide support, because you guys will know if you've watched the stream the last couple of days. I just got gifted and sent an ultra wide of my own from the good old folks at LG. And this thing is pretty stupid. It is a 45-inch ultra wide, and it's an OLED panel and everything. It's like actually outrageous. 240 hertz. It's ridiculous. And yeah, you can see chat on video. Sure can. This is where the magic happens. This is all of it. And so to see that they're adding support for ultra wide in The Last of Us, that gets me pretty stoked, if I'm being real.
You hear that?
Remember, guys, it's a remake. It's not a remaster, it's a remake. I'll be real, maybe this is just me being a prick.
You hear that?
I saw this and I was like, oh, they're doing a before and after shot of the original PS3 version. No, this is what it looks like on PC. It's still like, it's a good looking game, but like, let's be clear. This is a remaster. It's not a remake. There's no way to like describe this where it's not. Like, come on. Anyway, again, maybe it's just me being a prick, but I look at this and I'm like, there. I'm still so bummed. Like, there was so much potential. I could have recommended The Last of Us Part 1 remake so easily. If they had just, like, added... I don't even... Like, if they had just gone in and actually remade the damn thing. Add some grass in some of the tall levels. Allow players to go prone. Little stuff like that. Just copy and paste, Control-C, Control-V, the movement code or whatever that they did in The Last of Us, because Last of Us Part 2, because remember, they claim that they rebuilt this thing from the ground up. So people who are like, well, no, it's not, you can't just do that because The Last of Us Part 1 didn't have those systems, so adding those in would break the engine. No, they claim that they rebuilt the whole damn thing. They claim that. Just saying. I don't think the PS5 natively supports ultra-wide. I don't think it does, Ty, because I actually had some major problems getting my PS5 to like run while plugged into this monitor. I had to like change a bunch of settings to get it working. So I don't think it does. I believe that's right. The gunplay does play drastically different as someone who enjoyed the original. Yeah, well, I mean, I agree. The crafting stuff that they added was awesome. I do think that that is a market improvement. I'm just still bummed that for the most part it feels like just a remaster, but they're selling it to you for $70, and it just kind of hurts. And for those of you wondering when they're going to be doing a remaster remake of The Last of Us Part 2, I think they're doing that for Season 2 of The Last of Us on HBO. So they're going to probably announce that, I would guess, around E3. Right around then. I know they're not going to E3, but like around June during their summer show, I think we'll see an announcement for The Last of Us Part 2 remake, and it'll be a remaster, and then they'll announce a PC port as well. So that's what I would expect. I want to know if this is Steam Deck verified, though. That's what I would like to know. 3D audio. That's also one of those things that was announced in the like original promotion of the PS5. You remember that? They made a big deal of this 3D audio thing, and it really has not had a huge presence. I think it's because it's really hard to market. Like, how do you market to somebody 3D audio? If they don't have good headphones, they don't know what 3D audio is. And even then, it's like, it's cool in a game, but it's not something a lot of people talk about or discuss. And even then, like, it's not been a feature that's had like a staple game utilize it really heavily, where it's like, that is a feature, that is a system in the game, is the 3D audio. I think there's ways you could do it, like with The Last of Us Part 3 or whatever game that, another Sony first party studio comes out with. They could do it where like there's a sequence, you know what game did this? Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice did this, where she has like a sequence, if I remember correctly, where she like has a mental breakdown basically, and she loses her vision, and then you have to close your eyes and like listen to the headphones and use the 3D binaural audio to track the movement in the space. It was really, really cool. I'm pretty sure that was in Hellblade if I remember right. And so like something like that using real true 3D audio could be awesome. I wouldn't have cleared like 5 stages in Returnal if it didn't have 3D audio. Yeah, but I when I played Returnal, maybe this I just wasn't paying attention enough. But when I played Returnal, I didn't think that it was 3D audio in any sort of way that you couldn't achieve through traditional means. Like to me, it just sounded like audio routed in a nice way, but it didn't sound like next generation 3-dimensional audio, you know. But I don't know. Maybe it does, and I didn't pay attention enough. Random question, by the way. Does anybody know of any way to set up a surround sound system reasonably with a PC? Because upstairs we had 3D surround speakers, and they just don't really fit with the room anymore. It just doesn't really work. The wall's too close, so they sit too close to your ears, so it just doesn't make sense. But what I'd like to do, because I have these nice like KEF speakers, what I'd like to do is to add those mounted like up here above me, and so like one up there, one up here, and then route that in with the system so I have a like 4.1 system. But I don't know how to do that because they're not like they're routed with actual speaker wire. So I don't know how to do that where I can set up additional speakers, because these plug in with like, you know, a digital in, an optical in. So I don't know how to do that. If anybody knows, give me a shout on Discord, and I will heed your advice, because I'm really interested in doing that. I think that'd be badass. Imagine playing a PC game on an ultra wide with actual surround sound. How badass would that be? I already have the speakers. Like, why the hell not? Why the hell not? Okay, should we check out Maddie? Okay, you're saying check out Maddie's new video. Okay. The demo is almost done downloading. Oh, I think it is done. Perfect. So we'll do this. I think we have one other thing I wanted to see. I wanted to look at the RoboCop thing that just dropped, so we'll check that out.
It is rare.
Yong has a video. It is rare. So we'll check that out, and then a 60-second thing from Skate. But we'll run through all of this. Okay, let's see the Maddie video. Uh-oh, he looks sad. Matthew, why do you look sad, Matthew? Don't be sad. It's okay. By the way, everybody, we're going to try making a move starting the end of next week, early the following week. We're on the main channel. We're going to try going 4K 60 for all of our content. And we're... Chroma, I'm sorry. Chroma. Example of bad. Oh, yeah. I've teased him in person. Like, we've done collabs, and like I poke fun at him for his lighting, and he's like, "Yeah, I know, I gotta fix it." Yeah, we poke fun at Maddie for his lighting. It's a common thing. Maybe I'll fly out there and we'll help him. But anyway, we're gonna try to do 4K 60 and main channel content. We're gonna experiment with changing the aspect ratio to like a 2:1 aspect ratio. So when you watch it on your phone, it fills out more of the sides in the same way that like Linus Tech Tips videos do. So we're going to experiment with that. I don't know how it'll go, but we're going to try that. I'm kind of excited though, because then the live stream will be like 1080p 60, but the main channel content, all the footage, all the camera stuff, everything will be way higher production value. So I'm excited. We're going to see. We're going to see how it goes. And if you guys don't notice it or don't care, please tell me so I can return this freaking expensive camera that I have to buy to do it. So if I don't have to spend that money, please tell me. Great. Now I have to buy 4K monitor to watch your videos. My poor wife is not going to be happy. Just I can just picture a full on major argument with the significant other just for that. That would be really, really funny. I'm sorry to find your misery funny, but it's kind of a funny image. I'm sorry. 4K is overkill, TBH. Well, the other perk of 4K, and this is the main reason actually we'd want to do it, for those that don't have the ability to watch in 4K with like a 4K monitor or a TV, the reason is because when you upload to YouTube in 4K, they enable you to have a higher bit rate. And when you have a higher bit rate, it means things are way sharper. They just look far better, way higher quality. And so even if you're not watching in 4K, even if you're watching the downscaled version at 1080p, you can still see it at a much improved quality. So I think it'll work. Anyway, back to the intro. Okay, Maddie just posted a video, Starfield new gameplay breakdown. This is the thing we checked out on Wednesday's stream. It was the thing where like Todd Howard was giving a little speech, and then in the background they had people playing the game, and it was only in like 2-3 second snippets that we saw people playing the game, so it might have all been staged, but it was really funny, especially after all of the stuff we've seen with like the day before, where they have it set up and it looks kind of like somebody's a hostage from a terrorist organization, and they're playing the game and they have it set up very, very specifically. So they have the camera set up on the person, and then like, okay, I'm playing the game. As if that like sells you on the game. It doesn't make any damn sense. So I will give them credit. They showed the game actually running in real time. Nobody had a real question that this thing was like fake or anything, but I still appreciate it. It's a good touch. But let's see. Maddie says this is a deep dive. That video was only like 2 minutes long. This video is a little bit longer. So let's see what it's like. By the way, if you have not already, make sure to subscribe to Mr. Maddie Plays. He makes amazing stuff. Friend of the channel. We've made content together. He's done collabs with us and everything. He's a really good guy, so go show him some love and tell him I sent you.
So you saw the Starfield release date trailer and thought, okay, cool, I know when the developer direct is coming, I know when the game is coming. Didn't look like there were many details there. Then you saw the length of this video and said, dear God, what's wrong with this man? Is there actually more than I realized? The answer is yes.
It's funny because that's exactly what we just did, so I'll give him that.
There's a lot to take away from Starfield's release date trailer, and I'm here to show you all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, you're into Starfield news, information, and breakdowns, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing. Let's not delay. Let's get into this Starfield release date trailer.
Are his earrings Pokemon or Pokeballs or whatever? That's hilarious, dude. What a good touch. Maddie coming on with the fashion.
And break down everything it has to offer,
I'm sorry. I know we tease Maddie about his production stuff every once in a while. It's because we love you, Maddie. We love you. Okay, you're a character. What drives me crazy is this gap, dude. This gap. What are we doing? This like triggers my OCD so bad. Just grab it and shove it together. It shouldn't trigger me, but it does. I need to take a walk.
Including footage over the shoulder of Todd Howard, which is something I've never had to do before. Normally we ease into the crazy speculation, but this one is too tantalizing to resist. So right away you see this opening shot of a ship flying around a planet in outer space. It's alone, it's isolated, and you probably think nothing of it. It's just...
Is the fun fact that it kind of looks like a dildo? Because if you think I didn't think of that, you're very, very wrong. First thing I thought of. I look at most things and think they look like dildos. I don't. When I look at this, my immediate thought is, okay, is this a ship that the player can either fly or fly in? Is this a ship you can actually walk around in and explore? I don't know. Maybe he's got some news about it.
Just a shot to give scale. But actually, Reddit user Summon72 pointed out something interesting that led me down the rabbit hole.
Oh, Amuma. Ao Mau. I think that's what it is. This thing, if you don't remember this was an asteroid, alleged asteroid, that went around Earth like maybe a year or two ago, and it was shaped like a cigar, they said, and it was like spinning over itself really quickly, and it was like really, really crazy scary, and people were like, oh, it might be an alien ship, who knows, because it came in, it like orbited our sun and flung back out, so it was like a far distant asteroid that got propelled into our solar system somehow. And there was speculation it might be a ship, because people said that it seemed to be moving faster than it should be for just a spare object floating through space as a matter of just space debris. But yeah, there was speculation that it was perhaps a spaceship. What I will say, though, is that there's only so many shapes you can make a ship. I don't know if this is a reference to it. Maybe it is. But if it was like an actual reference to it, I think they would have it like spinning very, very quickly as a ship to be more in line with what it was. Because if I recall correctly, I think it was spinning very quickly, which is why they were weirded out by it. But I mean, maybe, or maybe it's just like a tubular ship. I don't know.
And I couldn't help but want to pass it on to all of you. He writes, "It looks like moi moi. Wonder if that was an inspiration, since the speculation was moi moi was."
Hold on. I'm sorry. I have to, okay? I have to. You can't get mad at me for this, okay? Hold on.
Moi moi. Wonder if that. And I couldn't help but want to pass it on to all of you. He writes, "It looks like moi moi. Wonder if that."
Did I get it?
Moi moi.
I did. Okay, we're good. Yeah, this is what it was. What is it, Maddie?
Moi moi.
Yeah, it is.
For those unfamiliar with this interstellar object, it is actually quite a phenomenon for the space community.
Sure is. When I first heard about
Moi moi.
I was really, really interested. I was captivated because
Moi moi.
is one. Sorry. Okay, I'll shut up. I have too much fun with this.
As for Starfield, it is
Who gave me a soundboard? Why am I allowed to have this? This is bullcrap.
pretty much the identical shape and size as the ship we're seeing here in the opening shot of Starfield. Now, what's very interesting is the meaning behind moi moi.
You're doing it right. You're pronouncing it right. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. It's just such a funny word.
Moi moi.
Oh, man. Oh, what a treasure. I want to find... So, like, okay, so this is what it was. So it was detected in October of 2017. So this is like, 5 going on 6 years ago. It's way longer than I thought. And it left, or its last perihelion was in 2017. Interesting. And it's named after the Hawaiian term for scout, because they thought maybe this was like a scout alien spaceship. My understanding, like, they never saw it. All they could really detect was that it was like, probably suggest, the properties suggest
Moi moi.
is dense, composed of rock and possibly metals. It has no water or ice, and that surface was reddened due to the effects of irradiation from cosmic rays over hundreds of millions of years. Let's see. They continued to track the fading object as it receded from our planet. 2 of NASA's space telescopes, Hubble and Spitzer, tracked the object traveling around 85,700 miles per hour relative to the sun. That's 38.3 kilometers per second for those of you who do not speak the president's English. The object passed Mars's orbit on November 1st and will pass Jupiter's orbit in May of 2018 and will travel beyond Saturn's orbit in January 2019 as it leaves our solar system.
Moi moi.
Will head for the constellation Pegasus. So, they never really saw details of it. Combining the images from the FORCE instrument on the ESO telescope, using 4 different filters with those other large telescopes, a team of astronomers led by Karen Meach, the Institute for Astronomy in Hawaii, found that
moi moi.
varies in brightness by a factor of 10 as it spins on its axis every 7.3 hours. So all they're gauging is like the brightness levels. That's how they know it's spinning, because it goes bright, dim, bright, dim, bright, dim. And the only reason for it to be doing that is if it's rotating and spinning and spinning and spinning. So, no known asteroid or comet from our solar system varies so widely in brightness with such a large ratio between length and width. The most elongated objects we have seen to date are no more than 3 times longer than they are wide. So the fact that this thing was very long is really, really weird. It's up to 1/4 mile or 400 meters long and is perhaps 10 times as long as it is wide. So this is just what an artist thought it could look like. That's what they sketched out. It might look like this. It might look like a spaceship, but it's flipping over. So it's not like spinning tightly like a football. It's spinning and rolling over itself constantly. Okay. So I don't know. This is a little bit of a stretch to think that this is like a reference to that. If it were rolling and spinning that way, yeah, that would be much more believable. But I don't know if I buy this. It's still a cool connection to make, because was a really interesting thing, because it is really strange. Asteroids, we didn't think that they should be developing like this, but they do. I don't think it was an alien spaceship or anything, because it came in and then got propelled straight the F out of the solar system, which is kind of a weird thing. If it's like an alien spaceship, it's probably not being powered or controlled. It's just kind of floating. So I don't know.
Is how it got its name is that the University of Hawaii had discovered this asteroid, and what this means is a messenger from far arriving first. And NASA writes that this is the first known interstellar object to visit our solar system. So I just find it interesting that the first thing we see has the same shape, size, and look as an object that has the name that does mean a messenger from afar arriving first, when the whole game...
It's also, like we saw, it generally translates to scout, which is why they kind of named it Scout, because it's like, maybe it's a scout, maybe it's a messenger from afar, you know?
Is based around discovering what is out there in Starfield. Some have speculated this is the player ship, that it's been customized. That is possible. We don't know for sure.
I want to know how freaking big you can get these ships, especially because, like, the thing I'm most excited for, honestly, I've been playing a ton of Kerbal. I'm not even gonna twist it. I've been playing a ton of Kerbal, okay, and I'm really enjoying the space customization or the ship customization and stuff. So to be able to do that here is really intriguing to me. And with mods, I would guess that they just, like, whatever the limit is for this ship by default, you can probably unlock that and just make a ship that's like half a mile long. That's my hope, at least. So that actually gets me pretty excited. Like, if we're talking about hype, I don't know what the cap for size, ship size is going to be by default, but whatever it is on PC is probably going to get unlocked by mods, and that's going to be the place to play. Like, I'm all for that.
My guess, though, is that what we're watching here in the opening parts of this trailer is actually the very beginning of Starfield. Let's get into that next as I break that down. So this shot should immediately bring up some memories for those of you who have been tracking Starfield. For those who don't remember, this is actually a direct callback to the initial announcement of Starfield back in 2018 with Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout.
2018. Man. It's been like 5 years since this announcement. You guys remember that? I think it was E3. They came out, they announced Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6 all at the same time. And that was almost 5 freaking years ago. It's insane. COVID is weird, dude. COVID came and it felt like that 2-year period, basically, when everything was insane, basically just like didn't happen. It feels like we went from 2019 to now. It's really odd. It's really, really odd. In a lot of ways, it feels like, you know, the snap, or the what did they call it in Marvel? It was the blink or something. Kind of feels like that, where it's just like the time just disappeared. Yeah, humanity took a time out. The blip, that's what it is. The blip. Yeah. Freaking weird, dude.
76, where we saw what many of us had speculated to be a satellite station of some kind, but it seems like some in-game dialogue has actually given us details on what this is, and heck, we even see the inside of
gosh darn heck
of it. So we hear someone say over the comms,
"This is Constellation Star Station LO868. Welcome aboard."
So now we know what we're looking at here is a Constellation Star Station. We know Constellation is one of the central factions in Starfield that's trying to figure out what's going on out in the galaxy. Now, again, I do believe this is the beginning of the game, as we see a figure on the right floating in towards the space station, and then the camera quickly pans into you entering the Star Station.
Wait, is that the same star? Is that thing that big? I thought this thing was just like the size of a regular satellite. I didn't think that this thing was like huge. But yeah, there is a guy. It looks like it's like the propelled thing.
Station.
And then it cuts to this. Is this really the same? Maybe it is. I guess it is. This thing's way bigger than I thought it was. I thought this was like maybe the size of a sedan. I didn't think that this is like actually like a space station size thing with like the little port for entering. In which case, this might not be a dude. This might be like, 'cause if so, he's like super. It doesn't seem like he's that far away.
Galaxy. Now, again, I do believe this is the.
So this might be a whole ship. I don't know, man. But it's also space. So like the distances and everything are really throwing me off. I don't know.
Beginning of.
My brain hurts. My brain hurts. Salvador, thank you for the one, or for re-upping your membership. How's Avatar? Says I'm late. Happy anniversary to us. Yes, indeed, my friend. Cheers, dilly dilly. I thought Avatar was pretty good. Pretty good. I can't stand the frame rate swapping. That drove me crazy. It like actually triggered me hardcore. But in general, it was a fine movie. The guy that played Spider looks like Kid Leroy. The whole movie, I thought I was watching Kid Leroy pretend to be like a monkey. It was really, really weird. And he also, I don't think is a very good actor, whoever that kid is. Like, there's moments where he's supposed to be like, oh my God, they're going to kill the mama whale? Oh no. He's supposed to look like kind of disgusted, but they cut to like the marine biologist who has a very subtle performance. And it's just like, you can tell he's uncomfortable, but he doesn't give a lot. And then they cut to Spider and he's just like show more teeth. It was really kind of uncomfortable to watch. I didn't really I wasn't a fan of his performance. But all told, I thought it was a decent movie. Not one I'll probably watch again for fun, but a fun like night out at the movies, I would say.
Game, as we see a figure on the right floating in towards the space station, and then the camera quickly pans into you entering the star station. And I believe this indicates the beginning of your adventure because they're kind of setting up the backdrop of the mystery that we learned a lot about during the Starfield gameplay reveal in 2022. So as we enter this star station, we hear, again, the same person over the comm saying,
"The eye is showing signs over another one of those big anomalies."
There's a sleeveless NPC working at the center, who I assume is the one that we are actually hearing from throughout this trailer. But the reason all of this is important is because now you take a look at the outside one more time.
Yeah, that's way bigger than I thought.
And you recognize this central location that's glass on the top almost serves like an eye inspecting parts of the galaxy, because they mentioned they're picking up anomalies. What are those anomalies? We'll get into it in a moment, but calling it the eye would also make sense again because you look at it from the interior and you see this big glass roof that's almost peering out into space with a planet in the background, and suddenly it starts to come together a little bit more. But what exactly is this anomaly? Let's get into that next. Here we're seeing the surface of some type of rings. These rings are extremely important. Again, at the heart of Constellation are these artifacts here.
Sorry, that face is just so funny. That's like, I love it. Look at that. Is she not like giving you the side eye? It's weird.
And these artifacts, they believe, are keys to the mystery of what is out there, which is pretty much the entire theme that the game is built around. We'll start to see these rings rotate. Now, what I'm going to do is actually rip a section out of my gameplay trailer breakdown from last year to break down to all of you the importance of not only these rings, but the artifacts and what they mean for the coded chambers like the one you see on Starfield's box art. In this shot of the Starfield reveal trailer, it says beneath a number of what I believe are artifacts, Alpha, Beta, and Chi, that, quote, debate in Constellation continues over the nature of the pathways, end quote. Beneath that, it says, quote, so far we have been unable to determine what happens at the center, end quote, with a variety of coded chambers. Perhaps these artifacts are the keys to the chamber that is locking away the mystery that Constellation wishes to solve. Perhaps the very chamber is the one that we see here in the Starfield cover art. That shot of the cover art is especially important right now because then after a couple of shots of the planet as well as the rings, which by the way, this game looks absolutely gorgeous compared to anything Bethesda Game Studios ever made before, we see one of those coded chambers.
I will give them that. I do want to give them praise. I do think that what they've shown in this trailer is far more graphically impressive than what they did in the last like initial gameplay reveal. That gameplay reveal I thought looked really bizarre. It was overly contrasted. The dark sections were super, super dark. It was really tough to see any clear detail. It just didn't look very good. But this looks way, way better. So I'll give them credit where it's due. I think that this is a market improvement. Starfield could be like Elden Ring, where everybody talks about how great it is 4 months after launch and everyone trashes on it for months. Or everyone trashes it for months. Maybe, yeah. I think either way, it's going to be a centerpiece of discussion because it's a big game. And these guys only release a game like once a decade, it seems like, at this point. If you count. I mean, I guess not if you count Fallout 76, but whatever. These don't come out every once in a while. So it's kind of a big deal. And whether you love BGS or hate them, they are one of the most lauded studios in the gaming industry. So there's a reason people pay attention to them, for sure. As for, I saw somebody ask, like, frame rate wise, they've not, as far as I'm aware right now, they have not confirmed or said how the game will run on consoles. PC, I'm sure it's unlocked. But as for console, all that's happened is, like, Todd refuses to say it, which probably, let's play like devil's advocate, I think probably what it is he's just not sure. They're trying to polish it. They're trying to get it so it performs better so they can hit 60. But if they don't get there, then they're not going to give you 60 and have it drop constantly, and they'll just lock it at 30. So he said that. What he has said, though, in interviews right around that same time he was being asked about this, was that he said he has no problem with 30 FPS for their type of games. Which, to be clear, I also don't have a problem. I greatly prefer higher frame rates, but you can clearly enjoy Bethesda games on lower frame rates, in my humble opinion. And some of the best games in history, as I said earlier in the stream, some of the best games in history launched at 30 FPS. In fact, I would even go so far as to say most of the best games in history launched at 30 FPS. So you can have a great game that runs at 30. Is it ideal? No. Is it what we would prefer? No. I'd rather have 60. I'd rather have 144. I would rather have 240. But if we get a great game that runs at 30, I'm not going to be complaining because I'll have a great game.
Chambers right here. The significance of this is not just the connection to the lore that we've unearthed in previous breakdowns, but rather that it's in an entirely different setting from the last time we saw it. The first time we saw one of these coded chambers before our very eyes was on a more arid region, we'll say, which was in Starfield's gameplay reveal of 2022. Now we're seeing another one here, and my belief here is that the player will start off the game in the Star Station learning about this anomaly. They'll then be brought to the anomaly, which is this coded chamber here, which will then give them visions, as we'll see later, and bring them to New Atlantic, where they will meet the rest of Constellation and begin investigating the mystery behind these visions, as well as what else is out there in the universe. Again, we're going to see a lot of similarities in this next shot to what we saw in 2022, just on a different planet. So here we're seeing the player enter the coded chamber, and within there we're going to see the rings that begin to unfold, much like we saw in 2022, where they had this big glowing aura within them. It's going to be much of the same here, except this time we're actually going to see the player character floating at the center of all of these rings. There's then this giant explosion, much like we've seen multiple times throughout Starfield promotion material, but in this case here, we see through the rings is the galaxy. And I think this is very important because, again, it's that what's out there mentality.
I mean, my impression was that it was a reference to the Big Bang. I was like, yeah, maybe they're trying to do this,
but
like...
in this case here, we...
Because it looks like a bang, does it not? And it bangs. Granted, it was more of an expansion than an explosion. But to me, I feel like this is... The rings are giving you a glimpse into the beginning of the galaxy or even the universe. So that's at least what I... But I think the point is the same thing. I mean, it's... The rings hold some key answer to mysteries of the galaxy or the universe. So I don't see that as a problem. I used 120 FPS one time a while ago, and it felt quite weird for some reason. Oh, really? Interesting. I don't know. I can tell the difference between 144 and 240, and I greatly prefer 240. I mean, I greatly prefer it. But I'm used to it, so that's part of it. Recommend me a monitor. Get the new 45-inch ultra-wide LG OLED. It's amazing. Not cheap, but very, very good.
You see, through the rings is the
That's what I'm using.
galaxy. And I think this is very important because, again, it's that what's out there mentality where the rings are conveying some type of galaxy you should go out and explore. This is especially important because when you go back to the Starfield gameplay reveal, here's what someone had to say to you.
You dug up the artifact, right? That means you saw it. The visions?
They're always asking about visions, and here I think is the very first vision in the game that makes you go, we got to learn more about this, and you start meeting with Constellation in New Atlantis. Not only that, but in 2022's gameplay reveal, we see the player character stepping up to a set of artifacts, reaching out and touching them, and that same orange-like visionary explosion, we'll call it, happens again. So it's clear that all these are connected and are part of your investigation. I just personally believe this is the first one the player will experience at the start of the game, your opening vault moment, if you will. All right.
I would agree. I think that's fair. I'm sorry, all this talk of like visions and stuff, it just makes me wonder, like, how long after this game comes out do you think it'll be before Joe Rogan goes up and is like, so that new game Starfield's pretty crazy. It talks about visions, seeing the beginning of the universe. You know, DMT and mushrooms can give you the same experience. And then like he has a guest on to talk about it. I think it's probably just a matter of days. Speaking of like mushrooms and tripping on balls and stuff, tripping balls. Maybe that'll make you trip on balls, but who knows? Did you guys see Boogie's video? We're going to get back to the video in just a second, but did you see Boogie's video he posted like yesterday or something? Or 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. He posted a video out of nowhere, and Boogie, like, I've been following Boogie for a long time. I haven't watched his stuff recently for a while because it got really, really weird for a variety of things. Yeah, Boogie2988. Go watch, like, not the most recent video. I think he posted one, like, today. But, like, go look at the video from, like, the upload before where he says, like, proving it or something like that. It sounds like he did that sort of like mushroom psychedelic therapy, and it actually seems like he had like a major mental breakthrough. I'm not kidding. Like, it's the first time I've heard him talk in a video in like 6 years where I was like, oh, he's actually being like real. This is like legit. Put it on. I don't think it's a great reaction video, I'm gonna be real, because it's kind of slow and it's a little, for lack of a better term, it's not like, it's tough to watch because he's like, he kind of breaks down in the video and is like, everything I've done has been self-sabotage because I like to be the victim. Like, he comes out and he just calls it like it is, what people have been trying to tell him for like a decade. And I actually think he might have had like a bit of a mental breakthrough, which I never really took the microdosing psychedelic therapy stuff seriously. But apparently for him, it actually like really, really, really worked. I think Bill Burr also did it, and it like solved his anger issues or something. Like he had this psychedelic whatever experience with mushroom microdosing or whatever, and it like basically fixed his anger issues, which is crazy. So, I mean, good for him. Hopefully it's real. We'll see as time goes by. But I saw that video from Boogie, and I was like, actually, I think that he might be... Like, this might actually be the actual change. Like, this might be the one. Because he's... Every 6 months, he posts a video about how he's changed and how he's going to be better now and all this. But I think this might actually be the one. So, I don't know. If you are interested, I would go... watch his video. If you've ever watched Boogie stuff, go check it out, because I actually think it's real. And a lot of the other videos that he's posted, I was like, I don't believe it. But if you're interested, I would recommend you go check in on Boogie, because maybe, just maybe, he's going to become a normal person again, or maybe for the first time. He says that he's, his whole life he's never been this honest with himself. But anyway, it'll be interesting. Anyway, back to this.
All right, so that's the narrative section of the
Very
trailer.
random.
We still have to analyze all of the gameplay.
Are we talking about Cobra? Cobra, I think if anybody could benefit from like any type of therapy, it's Cobra. And I think you could probably convince him to do microdosing because he'd be like, oh, I can get high legally, or maybe not legally, but I can get high as part of therapy. Let's do it.
That's most definitely what's up.
You know, so I think he would probably do it, but I would definitely say that he needs it. 4K 144 4K 144 hertz or 2K at 240. Kind of depends on your PC. If you're running a 4090 or like a 4080, 4K 144 for sure. Even my 3080 ran it pretty well. A lot of games would end up being like 90 frames on that 4K monitor. Pretty good, but not like where it's ideal. If you're running a 4090, 4080, I would go the 4K route. But if you're running anything other than that, go the 2K route for higher frames. I think that's the way to do it. That's what I would recommend. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Over Todd Howard's shoulder, yes, I'm serious, as well as different snippets throughout the trailer. You may be wondering why I'm not going to dive deep into shots like this of Emil Pagliarulo writing some of the script for Starfield.
This is the guy, remember I showed you guys this guy? He's the one that Todd Howard credits for like writing the dragon language and the Fusroda and the chants and the da 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 da, all the lyrics for that. This is the writer at the core of all of that. Like this is the guy that's responsible for Skyrim, also responsible for Fallout 4. We all know how that went. But this is the guy at the center of it. So he's very, very important. And if you don't know who, what we pointed out before, hold on. Please hold. Please hold. I can find it. Oh, right here. So he has had a bit of a transformation. Very good one. A very, very good one. He's actually lost a crap ton of weight. And he's gotten like super buff. Like this is him now. Okay. He's actually kind of buff. He's pretty swole. You can follow him on like Twitter and stuff. Pretty buff. This is him when he worked on Fallout 3. So he's lost a ton of weight. And he's looking really, really good. So props to him. I mean, that's not easy to do, but he managed to do it. And I mean, it's not common when you're in your like 30s to have this big of a transformation, but he's done very well. So props to him. And he's the guy behind like all of this stuff that you know from all these video games you love. One of the unnamed people that is responsible for a lot of it. So if you like Bethesda stuff, you probably owe a lot of it to this guy. I've actually thought about trying to get him on the... I almost made an oopsie. I've thought about trying to get him on like a video or a stream or something to interview. He probably won't be able to do anything until after Starfield launches, but yeah, it seems like a really, really cool guy. I would give him a lot of crap for for Fallout 4, but still. But this is him here, and I mean, it's cool to see him in work.
The reason for that is this has been out in the wild for ages, as has this shot here. So none of this is new, but what is new is the stuff on the TV in the distance. So let's dive into a lot of that, shall we? Naturally, the who's and what's are going to be tough.
Dude, I'm going to be real. I love YouTube. I love streaming. I love doing all of this stuff. But there's just something nice about having the office where you go in and you just work on your stuff. And working in a studio or an office like this, I think would be so cool. Like going into work here every day. The company gives you coffee and snacks. Dude, when I worked in real estate, our office was in downtown Denver on Broadway. And like I walked in for the first time for my first day, and the floors are all marble and all the walls are glass. Like it was a stupid nice office, like the Rolls Royce of offices. Like you could tell they were trying to flex how much money this company made. And yeah, it's all about appearances in real estate brokerage. So they were like, look, see, we're successful as a firm. Look at how fancy our office is. So that was part of it. But it was a super cool place to be and to work. And I kind of miss it. I kind of miss that. I don't miss, like you said, the office politics. I don't miss having a boss who, if you showed up 60 seconds late to a meeting, he could fire you on the spot. I don't miss that. That was toxic. But I miss the building. And I miss like seeing the people that I liked and seeing them regularly. That was super cool. So I don't know. Kashyyyk, why did you leave real estate? Certainly there will be more money than YouTube. You'd be surprised. I'll be real with you. Right now, well, I will say not right now, but like the projections for this year have me making more than a good chunk of the people that worked in that office. Granted, like the owner of the company is worth like, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars probably. So I'm not going to be better than him. He's going to do fine. And he's always, you know, he's going to be well ahead of me for a long time. But it's because he founded this company that's like super, super successful. But in terms of like the other brokers, nothing's trading in real estate right now. No apartment buildings are trading hands except for a very select few. So I got out right at the time that the market kind of crashed. And so now I'm doing better than most of those people. A lot of those guys have left real estate. A lot of the guys that I worked with in that building have left the company and left the industry because stuff stopped trading, and because you're purely commission when you do that, there's no money to be made. One of my old bosses I saw, he's been traveling in Europe for like 3 months straight. He just stopped working because he's like, nothing's happening. I can't do anything. So he just left the country and is like spending money doing vacations and stuff. That one that spends like $10,000 a month on wine, that guy, yeah. He just stopped working because he's like, I'm not making any money in the office, so I'm just going to stop. Why not? Wait a second. I thought Lachlan was your current boss. He usually walks in with boss energy. He does, yeah. He tells me what to do. He's kind of a tyrant too. I mean, look, he makes me keep a picture of him on my desk. And that, he put his artwork in front of my YouTube play button. What a maniac, right? What an absolute maniac. But I don't know. It's great. So all that to say, I'm very, very fortunate now to be in a position where I'm doing better than a lot of those real estate guys. When I left real estate, yeah, it seemed like a really dumb decision. You're going to go make YouTube videos about video games instead of sell apartment buildings. Okay, dumbass. But it's actually worked out very, very well. And I owe all of that to you guys. So, you know, this year, hopefully, will be a very financially lucrative year where I can save some money for a down payment. Like I said, we're currently renting the house we're in. We'd like to eventually own a house. So maybe in a year or two, I'll be able to get a house for me and Nikki. But, you know, we're just working towards that little by little. Little by little. I'm far from a millionaire. But one day, maybe. I've told you guys, like one of my ways that I like, one of my things on my vision board, the things that motivate me to keep working and grinding, one of those things is that I would like one day to own a really nice watch, like the one that Todd is wearing here. This is like a $10,000 watch. This is like an Omega moon phase. I forget the exact model of it, but this is a very, very, very nice watch. And one of my goals is to one day be able to get a watch like that and to not bankrupt the family. So for me, like, you know, working my ass off for a Rolex, not like a $10,000 or not like a $100,000 Rolex, but like a nice Rolex that I can get, that I take care of, wear on special occasions, and then I can pass it down to Lachlan when I'm too old, or when I pass on, I can pass it to Lachlan, and it can be a family heirloom that passes through the generations. Because for me, it represents that work and that success. So for me, I'm like, when my net worth hits like 1 million or 5 million or 10 million, whatever it is. Once I reach that point where I can buy that and it's not that big of a deal financially, then I'll do that, and that'll be like a big day for me. That'll be like one of my major accomplishments, that I made it to the point where that's not that, like, I earned this, I worked for it. So that's one of my things. But you'll notice I'm not wearing a Rolex. I wear an Apple Watch, but I don't wear a Rolex because I have not reached that point yet. But, yeah, PS5 in your bathroom next. Yeah, I probably could take one of the PS5s upstairs and put it in the bathroom, and it probably would not be that crazy. Can you imagine if I did that? Maybe what we'll do is, like, when we move into the next place, just for the memes of it, I'll put like a TV on the bathroom wall, and we'll put like a PS5 there and an Xbox so you can game while you're on the toilet. That would be funny. Then we have like a controller desanitization, a controller sanitization spot. Desanitization would be the opposite of what we want, but like a controller sanitizing station, like one of those golf ball cleaners on the golf course. We like insert the controller and it cleans it. So, you know, if you've got crap on your hands after using the bathroom, it doesn't get the controllers all gross. We could do that. The Elden poo. I'm an adult. That shouldn't be funny to me. I'm very serious. Oh man. Yeah, that's some rich ass shit. Take a dump while gaming. Dude, I'll be real. I have not used the bathroom so much since Breath of the Wild came out. When that game came out and I had my Switch, I would find any excuse to go in the bathroom and just like sit there and play. And I was just like, oh man, I've got IBS or something. I ate something bad. My stomach's really upset. That's why I was in the bathroom for an hour, not because of anything else. I spent so much time in the bathroom to get away and to play some Breath of the Wild, man. Oh, that hit different. Bring your Steam Deck to the bathroom. The Steam Deck, though, is freaking loud and hot. Like, my Steam Deck has a slight issue from the manufacturer where the fan on top makes like a slight clicking sound. And it's not like a big enough deal for me to send off the Steam Deck for a month to get it fixed. So one day, maybe on stream, we'll take it apart and try to fix it. But it's just annoying enough that it'll drive you a little crazy. It's weird. FSR is great, so unless we're talking frame generation, 42 DLSS is a huge benefit. Oh, you're talking about the... Yeah. Steffi, good to see you. Which Steam Deck model did you get? You know me. I got the 512. I don't think it was necessary, honestly. I kind of regret getting the high-end one, but whatever. What's a Steam Deck? I'm 40, be gentle. It's the Valve, like, it's basically Valve's Switch, but it can play any Steam PC game. It's pretty cool. Okay, anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's hear what Todd has to say with his sexy watch that I'm not at all totally jealous of.
Tough to discern, but one of the first things we see over Todd's shoulder is as the camera rotates, there is a human companion following you. We don't know who this is, just that it is a human companion. This is something we could assume was...
That's a good touch. I didn't notice that. Props, Maddie. Good spot.
Confirmed, but now we can say for sure is. Previously, before this, the only companion we knew about was Vasco, which was a robot, so this is actually a good thing to have firmed up for us. I wanted to highlight some of the cleanup Bethesda's done. When you compare the animations in this latest trailer versus what we saw last year, things have definitely been polished up a lot, and you can see the delay, even from afar, is actually starting to pay off. Down to the sprinting. Heck, even the jetpack animations you'll see here. I mean, it's a world of a difference as you see your character ebb left and right. It seems far more responsive, which is exactly...
Yeah, see what I mean? This footage was freaking ugly. Might just be the planet they're on, but like, I feel like it looks way better in this footage behind him.
Exactly what
This looks like shit. This looks horrible. So I'm glad they've seemingly made improvements. And it's like this, we talked last stream about when people make, like, they justify things that are problems because they think it's justified in the world or in the writing or whatever. I think it was when we were looking at the review of Fallout 76 that gave it like a 92. It was like a 92 out of 100 review for Fallout 76 from launch of Fallout 76. And the guy is like, I don't have a problem with all of these things because I didn't mind it. Or I don't have a problem with there not being human NPCs because it's Fallout. And it doesn't make sense for there to be a ton of people wandering the wastes. So I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with small player server sizes because it's something that like I don't mind. I like having my own time to explore the map. Like it was all this justification and pleading things away. But with this, it was kind of a similar thing. In space, or in planets, on planets, without like heavy atmospheres, there's nothing for the light waves to bounce against. So you don't get ambient lighting in the same way, or global illumination in the same way that you get on Earth, where like there can be a light that, like the sun, where it's shining directly on a tree, but under the tree, you can still see like the grass underneath it or the trunk of the tree, even though no light is directly hitting it. It's because it's lighting all of the air particles around the tree, and that spreads the light into the tree so you can still see it. Out in space, that's not a thing. There's nothing for the light to bounce around on planets with like no atmosphere. So here you could look at like the bad shadows and the fact that in the areas that aren't well lit, it's like totally black and you lose all detail. You could look at that and be like, well, that's just a matter of accuracy, right? You could say, no, that's not a bug, that's a feature, right? That's not a bug, that's a feature. But my problem with these types of like justifications is that they get to choose what this planet's atmosphere is like. They get to choose how this works. And honestly, like if they're choosing to go to a planet, and rather to show a planet as part of their advertising campaign that has an atmosphere like this, they should be prepared for people to say it looks ugly or the shadows look weird, because the shadows do look weird on planets with no atmosphere or little atmosphere compared to Earth. So it's still like the perception is going to be affected. It's just a bad decision for the marketing. Let the players go and explore these planets, but you shouldn't make it your like the centerpiece of your marketing campaign, because it's too much explaining. Like it's too much. So all of that to say, I'm glad to see that the game looks better now. I would say. What's wrong with the shadows? Like I said, where the light isn't directly hitting it, all details lost. It completely blacks out, which is probably a matter of accuracy. It actually is probably a feature, not a bug. However, when you're marketing the game, all players will see when looking at this is that it just looks off. The shadows look off. It looks weirdly contrasty. The quality of like the lighting doesn't seem right. It just looks bad to the human eye. But it looks bad to the human eye because we're used to the planet Earth, and so we're used to light bouncing in a certain way, but on another planet it doesn't bounce that way, which is why when you're advertising and showing the game off and you're trying to make the game just look good, it's probably not useful to go to a planet where things will look off.
We want, and it shows that again the delay is really,
and God, this combat was so bad,
paying off. Now separate from that is actually looting. We already knew the looting in Starfield would work much like Fallout 4. You look at the object, you look at the body, the loot box will pop up on screen, so you don't have to go menu to menu to menu. In this game,
by the way, it's one of the best mods you can download for Fallout New Vegas, is that Fallout 4 loot mod. If you have not played Fallout New Vegas with that loot mod, do it. Download it on PC. It's super quick and easy. Get it through Vortex or whatever. And oh my God, it'll change your life for Fallout New Vegas. So much better. Just do yourself a favor, download that loot mod, and it's great. It's great. No joke. No punchline. Just do it.
Functions much of the same, but I noticed the UI coloring, the bordering was a bit different. It seemed almost pink/purple, and I noticed that throughout the entire video that there were almost separate variations of it. Now in Fallout 4, you could change the UI color.
Yeah, this is what I'm seeing. It looks like they changed the UI color for here. It also, honestly, probably, yeah, because that's white. What this looks like to me is that they, it's the white balance of the camera. I think that that's what this is. I don't think it's that the UI is actually changed. I wouldn't be surprised if you can change the color of the UI, but this to me looks like color shifted white. It doesn't look like a different purpley color. Assuming it doesn't inhale my own throat. So to me, this looks like it's just a white balance difference. And I mean, considering the quality of the filming they're doing for Todd, I would guess that they probably film this raw, and then using like gray cards, which are like this. I use these for color balancing. This is like a true gray. So this color gray is a very precise color that doesn't possess any blues, reds, greens, nothing like that. So you film raw, and then you capture these cards on camera, and then you can color correct to true white so things look the most accurate. And that's a very common practice in cinematography if you know anything about balancing your color and film. So I would guess that's what they did, and as a result, this got color shifted, and so it doesn't look quite white, but it is. If you were in the room, it probably looks white, I would guess.
Of your Pip-Boy, and thus it would change the color of your reticle and so on and so forth. So I think that may be a confirmed feature here in Starfield, but we have yet to see for certain. Now we're finally getting a much more generous camera angle here where we can see the gameplay up close and personal. I love the Adam Cat's hat on this dude's desk, but what I love a little bit more, I'm going to be honest, is the fact that Bethesda is finally doing it. The absolute madmen are adding revolvers. Many people wanted revolvers in Starfield. It's been a request of the community for a while, and we are indeed seeing that. I mean, look at the barrel on that bad boy. Nice and long. We also get a look at...
Nice and long. I need somebody to clip Maddie saying nice and long. I need that on my soundboard. I could do it now, but it would... I think it'd be difficult to precise. Screw it, we're doing it.
Indeed, seeing that. I mean, look at the barrel on that bad boy. Nice and long. We also...
Okay, hold on. And then we go here. And then we go sampler. Bottom right.
Nice and long. Nice and long.
Maddie, you can't take me anywhere.
Nice and long.
Okay. What's nice and long?
Moi, moi.
Okay.
To get a look at some other planets, like this more arid region I was speaking of earlier, we can see a nice arch over here, this very alien-like looking planet. We also know from last year that you can fly your ship closer to the surface, so I wonder if that's a little gap you could fly between. That'd be pretty cool. And then we see the everyone's favorite planet, the space dinosaur planet that I think is going to blow everyone's mind.
I gotta give him a shout out. This like Xbox dev kit, how cool is that? This is what developers use to make your games, the games you love. This is what it is. You notice it's like, it's nice. It's got two tones, but really for me, it's the dimensions, because it's not just like, it kind of looks like a 1X, but it also just in general looks
nice and long. We get another look at that.
Maddie.
It looks absolutely beautiful compared to everything else we've seen. This one looks truly stunning. Now this screen here, this is the juicy one. We're looking at the inventory menu for Starfield. Why is it so juicy? Number one.
Dude, 2 juicies in a row? Maddie, you're spoiling us. This actually, I'll be real. I don't really love this this inventory list. This is really freaking confusing. It's like, so we've got this thermal, Azimazone, maybe Asmon. I can't read what that is. It's just too blurry. Mass, value, maybe conductive, radiation, maybe. I'm not sure. But it's got these different stats tied to it. And then you see in the inventory under helmets, they've got all of these different things. I don't know what DR means. Does anyone know what DR might mean? Defense rating, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. I can't help but notice that the mass, he's carrying up to 1,100 units. Damage resistance, that would make sense. Damage resistance. Explorer space helmet versus like a pilot space helmet. Okay, so I could see that maybe having higher defense ratings. Okay. But yeah, this UI is kind of, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's still better than the Pip-Boy. I'll give them that. Could be, I think it's a lot better than Pip-Boy, but that's not saying much because the Pip-Boy was, it was icky. Could be space storage or ship storage. That's true.
One, thank God it's nothing like Destiny. I see so many Destiny UI copycats. I'm glad this one is actually calling back to one of Bethesda's older games, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Sound familiar? Yeah, I've said that a lot in the past, that there are so many things mechanically speaking that remind me in Starfield of Oblivion. Now you're going to see a little drop down.
What does the Destiny UI look like? Am I just like totally spoiled? Destiny 2 UI. Oh, okay. Yeah, I totally see it. I totally see it. Oh no, this is a UI concept. Okay, then is this the actual? This is the actual UI? Can I not? I just actually created a bookmark. Yeah, this is something. Is this actually, did this start with Destiny? Because like every game for the last 5 years has done this. Like even Assassin's Creed, this jumps out at me as very Assassin's Creed. Even Assassin's Creed, like Origins did this, which was 2017, right around the time that Destiny. Well, Destiny 2 was Destiny 2 2017 as well. So maybe it did all start with the original Destiny. I don't know. If they did start it, yeah, I mean, I'm down for them to change this, because everything from Assassin's Creed to Destiny to Hogwarts Legacy uses this UI now. So I would be down for that shakeup. I get that it's different, but I mean, I don't really like the way this is laid out. The font is also kind of clunky, but nah.
Menu here, labeled
maybe I'm
helmets,
just,
meaning that
maybe
there are
that's
going
just
to be
me.
filters within your inventory for all different pieces of armor, and I imagine weapons, so you can filter through them a bit quicker. But also, I like how there are multiple different types of helmets here. This is great because it's a defining feature on your character. It's something you're going to love to see in third person. And what you're also going to love to know is that if you're on a planet that is breathable, there is actually a tab that you can hit on the bottom that says RB to hide your helmet on breathable planets. It's just a nice little bit of attention to detail here, because third person, I love in Bethesda Game Studios games. People used to slander me on using that a lot, but I think it's great. And so to know they have that little...
I like the addition. I generally play them first person, I'll be real. I don't know. Maybe we should do a poll. How many of you guys play first person versus third? Hold on, I'll do a poll. Start a poll. For BGS games, first person, third person. Okay, let me know. Let's see what you guys say. What's your primary means of playing? Do you mainly play first person or third person? If it's like, you might play both a lot, but I need to know, what do you lean more towards? Lean first, lean third. Which is it?
Feature.
Let me know.
Nice and long there is good for people like me. And for those who also like attention to detail here, I actually noticed some of the Starfield fans on Twitter and Reddit were catching that they changed the name of weight, which you're typically accustomed to in inventory, to mass.
Good touch. Good touch, because weight is specific to whatever gravitational force is on that particular body at the time. So mass is a more universal term. I like that.
And people were writing that actually weight changes with the gravity while mass doesn't. So that's why they're actually using mass, so that it can work in other environments with different gravities.
Exactly. Can you imagine how confusing it would be if your weight, like your weight load, changed based on which planet you were on? Honestly, that probably makes sense. If you're on a planet with more gravity, increased gravity, so you can't jump as high, flying your ship requires more fuel, it would probably make sense to decrease the weight load. But maybe they just found that for players that would be overly complicated. It's another example of something where, like, if they want to be really accurate, they would have the weight capacity change based on the gravitational force of the planet you're on. But it could just be in game testing and in testing with players, they have not found that that's fun, and maybe that's just overly complicated. So like, it would be accurate, but it wouldn't be fun for a video game, you know? Yeah, weight is calculated based on gravitational acceleration. Mass is constant. Yeah, exactly. So mass is going to be the same whether you're in space, in zero gravity, or on like Earth or on the moon or wherever. It's going to be the same, but weight is going to change. If you count, like, just think of it in like the simplest terms. If you're on the moon and you stand on a scale, the moon is like what, 1/8 gravity of Earth or something like that. I don't know. Alexa, how strong is the moon's gravity versus Earth's?
The moon's surface gravity is 1.622 meters per second squared.
1.622, I think is what she said. So, and here on Earth, it's 8 meters per second, or 8.7 meters, something like that. So it's about an eighth, But anyway, or a sixth, maybe like a sixth of the Earth's gravity, something like that. But it's like if you stood on the scale on the moon, your weight would only show up if you're, you know, like, if you're 200 pounds, you'll show up as significantly lighter on the moon versus on Earth. Whereas like on Earth, you know, you'll still weigh in at the full 200. Whereas mass would be the same on the moon versus the Earth, which is why it's a good change to swap to mass. I appreciate that. You set off my thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Earth is 9.81 meters per second square. Okay. 9.8. What did I say? I said like 8.6 or something. I don't know what I said. But yeah, 9.8 meters per second squared. Yeah, it's been a while since I took a physics class, but something like that.
Just a small thing most people won't care about, but to me it shows that extra level of thought that Bethesda's using. You also see that all of the helmets are for various factions: the Explorer space helmet, the Mercenary space helmet, the Navigator space helmet, the Pirate Assault space helmet, Shock Troop space helmet, Space Trucker space helmet, the Pilot space helmet, the Trackers Alliance space helmet. So it seems like pretty much every faction or person you can be has their own armor set. That is very nice to see. There are also various resistances labeled on the top right corner of the screen.
Thermal, corrosive, irradiation, radiation, maybe something like that.
You see physical, energy, as well as thermal, corrosive, airborne, and radiation with all
airborne. Okay.
Varying numbers there. I think this again plays into the fact that Starfield's going to have multiple planets with multiple characteristics, so these will all be useful in different situations, which means you'll be switching out your armor sets potentially far more often than you were in previous Bethesda Game Studios games, which I like because that's kind of a little Breath of the Wild flair where you would have to change if you were in a cold area or a hot area. I'm hoping they're actually going to do that here to make these planets feel truly believable. All right, we got 2 more closing shots and then we are done here. First and foremost, we see this absolutely terrifying looking creature, one that we did spot during the Starfield gameplay reveal last year, or at least something alien like it. But the one that we're seeing here in this latest trailer is called the Hunting Maggot Maw. It's level 75, which does...
How the hell do you see Hunting Maggot Maw? Is this from another frame or something? Because how the... like, what? I don't get it. First person, by the way, first person wins the poll. 65% of you saying you prefer first person, 35% preferring third. That's, I mean, honestly, that's probably about where I would guess, like 2/3 preferring first person versus third. I would guess a ton of you guys play both and kind of swap between it depending, because that's kind of how I am. I'm much more inclined to do third person if I'm going to use it. While exploring and like walking around in the open world, but I'm very unlikely to use it if I'm inside a building or in combat or anything like that. So that's about what I would expect. So props. Thank you everybody who voted.
Does indicate that Bethesda is at least putting the level cap up to that, which is nice to see, given that Fallout 4 you could endlessly level up. That's good. I'm just happy to see, if you will, endgame content, higher level enemy content, because that means that there will be more to see deeper into the game, I imagine. This last shot, I think, is really important because we see here that the player discovers a location that looks like it's called the Mars Mech Factory. I think this is important because now it shows that all of that gameplay we were seeing over Todd Howard's shoulder was on Mars, which we also saw in the gameplay reveal where we saw the main character pass the Mars rover. So between endgame content and potentially starting game content and things we're familiar with, Starfield is going for it all, and I am stoked. But that's everything I could find in these little snippets of the trailers, as well as narratively speaking, pulling it all together. So I hope you found this useful, and I hope that the most useful part is also down in the comments below. I love seeing you all post your own discoveries down there in case there was anything I did miss, which is always possible.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty impressed. It's looking better and better. It's looking better and better. Yeah, so this guy also calls it out. It's probably not a changed color UI, but color artifacting. I don't know. It's looking better. I'm much more inclined to be excited after this revelation. Before I was really, really iffy. But now I'm getting more interested, and I think that there's more to this that looks good. So I think they're starting to impress me more and more. I'm still not going to give them the benefit of the doubt because last time they basically scammed their customers out of millions of dollars, but I'm relatively interested. I'll give them that. Really juicy. Yeah, really juicy and
Nice and long.
I'm sorry, Maddie. I'm sorry, Maddie. I'm gonna send Maddie like a tweet or something. I'm like, hey, you want to do a collab? And he's like, no, I don't. I'm good. I'm done. I'm sick of it. Sorry, Maddie. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Oh, I have a thing to respond to. Somebody left a comment about skepticism that I want to touch on. So we'll touch on that. But first, we have something else to do. I'm gonna go pee real quick, but when I come back, you know what this is. You know what this be. You know what this be. Voice language button type. Okay, TV audio output, headphones, subtitles on. Mouse sensitivity is all sorts of screwed up. Okay. Looks good. I consent. I consent. Okay. Autosave. Okay. Chainsaw demo. We're going to do this right as I get back from the loo. You guys hold down the fort. I'll be back in like 2 minutes, okay? Give me a second. Give me a second. He's back. And he washed his hands.
Nice and long.
Okay. Let's do this damn thing. Controls. Graphics for 1. Display mode 4K. Ray tracing high. Normal. Super high quality. Let's just crank it all to the max. Volumetric lighting. Max. Subsurface scattering on. Hair strands on high. Persistent corpses many. Okay. That all looks good. And then accessibility maybe? No. Controls. Oh, is this a controller game? They don't recommend mouse and keyboard? Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, let's just do this. Let's go for it, right? Should I... Hold on, let me see if recording it at the same time causes the stream to tank, okay? So bear with me. It might cause the stream to get really weird looking for a minute. If it does, I'll just turn the recording off, but let's see. Okay, recording. Doesn't look like it's falling apart yet. Not yet, at least. I think we're okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Let him cook. Okay. Let's just go for it. New game. How long did you guys say this demo is? Nice and long.
September 30th, 1998. It's a day I'll never forget. The cop inside me died that day. That night, Raccoon City was wiped out, thanks to the bioweapons created by Umbrella. Somehow I made it out, but too many others weren't so lucky. I was asked later to join a top-secret government program. Not that I had a choice. The training, punishing missions, nearly killed me. But at least I kept my mind off everything. If I could just forget what happened that night. The pain, even for a second. This time, it can be different. It has to.
Okay. It's been 6 years since Leon Kennedy survived Raccoon City incident, unprecedented biological catastrophe. Okay. U.S. Special Agent. He's tasked with locating the president's missing daughter. Search has brought him to an isolated village in Europe, where intel suggests the kidnapped girl was last sighted. Even Leon's past trauma could not prepare him for the nightmare of the insanity he would find here. Boom. I mean, I'll be real, so far, it looks and runs very well. If I pin this... like, it's running on very ultra wide and quite well, too. Okay.
How far could he have gone?
Uh-oh, stinky. The sprint is a toggle. Yeah, it looks very, very good. Very pretty. Luke's very immersion breaking. Okay, it's not my fault that I like beautiful stories. I like stories that are
Nice and long.
Sorry, I'll see
Anyone
myself out.
home?
We're gonna find Marguerite. I just triggered so many Resi fans by saying that. Oh, what's this? That looks normal. El Juicio. Judgment is nigh. See, I saw Saquera El Juicio, or Juicio, and what I thought it probably meant was secreting the juice. Which I don't think is what it means. What message do you want to leave to the people that find this crucifix? Secreting the juice. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Don't have the key. Sure don't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And then the cutscenes drop back down to 16:9. Interesting.
Sorry to barge in like this. Busco a un policía. Vino aquí?
And boom goes the dynamite. He's not doing well.
This is not good.
Not good. This is poopy. Okay. Well, I've got this now.
Man, that stinks.
Okay, not everybody is great at cooking, dude. Stop being so judgmental. Let's see what we find. It's so spoopy.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
I read you. What's your situation? What the hell's going on? What was that? No fucking way.
Oh, God. This just keeps getting worse. Oof. Does this... It does support mouse and keyboard. Okay, that's actually better. I'm actually going to swap to this, because I cannot aim worth a crap on controller. In there? Yeah, he is. Can I just leave? Sure can. That's not good.
Bruce, this is Condor 1.
Hunnigan here. What's your sit rep?
The President's daughter, Baby Eagle. It's likely she's in this village.
Our intel was correct then. Well done.
Need a location on a nearby lake. She may have been taken there.
Copy that. I'll see what I can find.
Hurry up. Something's happened to the people here. My escorts are... Gotta go. Talk later. I'll let myself out.
That's not good. Roadhouse. Oh, the typewriter saves. Can't save though. Is it because this is a demo? Is that why? Why can I not save? Is it just because it's a demo? Is that why? Like, I get it. I just want to know if I have to, like, do a checkpoint thing. E is crouch or stand? That seems weird. Why not C? Run! Oh! So I think I parried with circle or space accidentally. Flash grenade, interesting. Sure, it's wiggly wiggly. Thought maybe if you shot their legs, they'd like trip or something, but. Push. gosh. Huh.
Shit.
Oof. I don't know what the game plan is here. Probably not take them head on. That's probably a bad idea. Can I stealth kill her? That rooster's just walking into a wall. Nice. Resources. Okay. Oh no. Doesn't see me yet somehow. He must be blind. Okay. I am not sure.
Here we go.
Yeah, this doesn't end well. Oh. Oh, that's cool. Oh, he hit me through that. So I don't think that's the way you're supposed to go through that level. I don't think that's the way. That is not the way. The way is Ebola. Okay, let's do this. We do this, we look at this, we see the scary spoopy thing. Okay. Oh, Drinner, thank you! I can go this way too.
Drinner D super chatted $5. Somebody tell Luke to stay the hell out of sheds, lol.
I'm getting that now. I learned that lesson the hard way. Don't have that. I don't like how he defaults to standing after interacting with those things. Okay, he's over there. Let's take her out again. That felt good. I'm guessing you can just get through this area. I don't think you need to kill everybody. That would be really weird. So there's got to be a route that allows you to get by most of these. Is there a guy right there? Yeah. It's just, he's camping it. I think I need to go in the church. The church looks like a spoopy place to go, and that's usually the right place. Oh.
Here we go.
Oh. I keep forgetting I can parry. There was like tab where you can craft stuff. About craft with mixed herbs. Okay. Craft handgun ammo. Love that. So I think there are too many to, like, reasonably fight off. Oh, come on. Nice. I love that for us. Okay. Don't mind me. Chainsaw boy. That's not good. Okay. Where's Chainsaw boy? Nope, bad. All bad. All bad. How did I use this? This was use. Oh, this is not going well, is it? Just a light jog around the park. Just a light jog. Okay, you said stay out of sheds. Why can I not pick up those axes they're throwing at me? This is where he came from, so is this unlocked now? Oh, come off it. Well, now my knife's broken. I just got punched by an old lady. And then they pushed me into the trap. This is just going about as well as you could expect, right?
Huh?
Oh, now they all stop.
Tenemos que servir. Al Lord Sattler Todopoderoso.
What happened to Chainsaw Boy?
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
The lack of knowledge of RE4 is making me sick. Oh man. No, but like this is the everybody's like, Luke, before this comes out, you should definitely play the play another version, like, or the OG version. You should do that. Oh, available 324. Boom. And I'll be real, I kind of would prefer to experience this like raw, without any twisted expectations or things of like, oh, the original did this better. Like, I'd rather just go into it straight. Yeah, seriously, I haven't played the original. Yeah, no. You guys forget, like, when did the original come out? Resident Evil 4. No, the original, not the remake. 2005. I didn't really start playing video games until like the early 2010s. So I I never had the opportunity to play something like this. And even when I started playing games in the early 2010s, mostly, I mean, there were like some games I played, like, you know, we had Red Faction for the multiplayer, but like for most of it, we were not allowed to have games that were rated anything above T for teen. And even then, if we did, it was to like have the multiplayers. Like we could have Halo, but like we had like a PS2 until probably 2012 or something, when we got an Xbox 360, I think. So I did not grow up in a household where we could just like play this stuff. And so for me, I never had the opportunity to play it. And now that I've played it, I've never really gone back and done it. And so now, like, these games are coming out and I'm interested in them, but I've never experienced the originals. And people are like, you should play the original now. And I'm like, honestly, do I want to play an 18-year-old or yeah, it's 18 years old. Do I want to play an 18-year-old game, or do I want to just wait for the remake that they're launching in like a few weeks or a couple weeks? I'd rather just wait for the remake, experience that. You know? Molly, RE4 overhyped, play real games like Forspoken. Yeah. Stop wasting your time with this garbage. Oh, man. The original still holds up, TBH. I think the thing that would cause me frustration are like the controls. That's usually the thing with these older games that is the first thing you notice. And I think that that's probably what I would pick up on. Yeah, the jank of the old controllers. Yeah, back in the day we were used to it, but nowadays, like, even something as simple as like left stick being movement, right stick being your look and view, even that wasn't a staple of the gaming industry until like the late 2000s. Before that, like, there were still games that had you move with the D-pad and then you could aim with the left or right stick. Like, it was still kind of inconsistent. So yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna reach out. We're gonna try to get a review code for Resi 4. I don't know how it'll go because I haven't really covered those games before, but I'm gonna look into it. Let's see. We have a handful of other things I was gonna touch on, but I did get notified by Nikki. She does need my help for something. She also just generally needs a break. Lockie's been a lot this morning apparently, so I'm gonna go give her a hand and alleviate some of that stress if I can. So we'll end the stream a little early for Nikki's sake, and yeah, much love to Nikki. She needs a break. He can be a lot. So I mean, look at this face. Of course, this guy is gonna be a lot. So we're gonna go do that. I'll be back Monday with another stream and video and stuff. So I'll be back. Don't stress it. Have a wonderful weekend. Nice and chill. And everybody stay safe. Much love. You guys are wonderful. I really do appreciate all of you. So much love. I'll see you soon. Hugs and kisses. I'm bad at outros, so I'll end it there. Much love. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Nice and long.
I'm sorry, I had to. Okay, I'm actually leaving. Bye.
Moi.